This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It is the Tuesday edition of Wilde and Tausch here from the ESPN Milwaukee Open, and Brad Nortman and Jason Woolley both on site at the Bog for the Open down at the ESPN Milwaukee Open, and they are still waiting on some of their headphones to arrive to their remote broadcasting station, and it looks like they might actually just be arriving now. So we'll be getting Brad Nortman and Jason Woolley joining live from the Bog for the ESPN Milwaukee Open in just a moment. But this is Ryan Wollersheim, your cousin sub of the day, here subbing in for Jesse Nelson as today's producer of the show. Make sure to check out the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube streams for live video of Jason Woolley and Brad Nortman live. And here they are coming up right now.
Woolley, that was some outstanding dancing as fast as you could. Well done, my friend. Thanks for filling in for us as we ran into some technical issues here at the Bog for the 2023 Delzer Open.
The Delzer Open?
Yeah, the Delzer ESPN Wisconsin or ESPN Milwaukee Open.
Yes, the ESPN Milwaukee Open. I'm very glad I did not say that incorrectly for you guys there. I'm glad I didn't say you were at
No, you crushed it.
The wrong.
Did you want to keep going? I mean, we could just sit here and listen to you for a while.
No, I think you guys might be the professionals at this. This might be your realm more so. Me making sure the video stream looks great and beautiful today. From there, you, Brad Nortman, and Jason Woolley. You guys killing it today.
I look very bright.
Yeah,
we have great lighting. We have absolutely
great
lighting. Yeah,
too
great. You guys look absolutely
reflective
vibrant.
Lighting.
Mm-hmm. We are vibrant with a lot of terrific cousin subs of the day today. Cousin subs, we believe in better. We've got Ryan Wollersheim in as our cousin sub of the day for Jesse, and everyone's favorite punter. Everybody loves Raymond, and everybody loves Nortman. Brad Nortman is our cousin sub of the day. Dude, this is awesome. Like, this is the second golf outing we've done together. We've had an opportunity to meet now multiple times, despite the hundreds of times. We've been on the radio together. This is awesome. I'm glad you're here.
This is awesome. I mean, what more could you ask for? There's something about, a golf scene that just kind of brings serenity and, kind of gets a little bit of the competitive juices going.
Are you playing after we're done?
I am going to join in. And try to do a little bit. But I think the shotgun starts while we're still on air, so I'm going to catch up with the group. And at first I was like, well, gosh, I'm not going to be able to get a full 18 in, but what a way to lower my score. Just play less holes. That's a good way to lower my score. This is the first time I'll probably shoot in the 50s in my whole life. Maybe like Bryson DeChambeau, shoot a 58 on 12 holes.
If the shotgun start is at 11, we've got a huge crowd here. It's such a popular event that they may only get 1 or 2 holes in without you, and that may not have that big of a dent in your score.
Now I'm at risk of scoring high again. But this is awesome. Thanks for having me. I love being on the air with you guys, and what a cool event to do it.
Well, we appreciate Tausch taking 2 weeks off so that can be part of our equation while he's gone. We've got, again, a cavalcade of great cousin subs lined up, but kicking off with our favorite punter. Did you do kickoffs?
I did not. There was something about kicking that just did not transfer for me. I mean, they're very different movements, right? Punting is very linear, and kicking is very horizontal movement and different leg planes and muscle usages, and I just never got to that point. There was even a time where I was technically the backup kickoff guy, and I was just not. It was ugly. It would not be very good
in case of an emergency.
In case of an emergency. And even when I would fill in practice from time to time, just to make sure I could even get the ball in the air, I mean, it was not pretty. And there was a Monday Night Football game that we were playing in Philadelphia, and Graham Gano comes up to me, and he's like, man, I think my back is acting up. Like, I might be able to do field goals, but, just be on guard for kickoffs. I'm like, buddy, that is the last thing I need to hear. This is Monday Night Football. I'm punting to Darren Sproles. That's my focus. I don't need to be doing kickoffs and embarrassing myself on national TV. Thankfully, my man stuck through. He kicked off, and I didn't have to do it and embarrass myself on national TV.
Did you win the game or lose the game?
We lost.
What if his back had acted up to the degree that not only could he no longer kick off, but he couldn't kick field goals? What do we think your accuracy percentage would be kicking place kicks?
Well, it depends where we're at. I could hit a PAT and in. The bigger question is
back then, though, wasn't the PAT shorter?
Okay, fair, very fair. So definitely I could hit a PAT. Maybe, okay, we're probably going for it on 4th down unless we're in the red zone.
Sure.
Which even then, it's might just go for a touchdown. Here's the bigger question, though. Who holds? Because I'm the holder.
Because you're the holder.
I'm the holder. So who would hold? We'd have a whole botched operation from start to finish. So I think we had Derek Anderson as the backup quarterback, and he could hold slightly. But whenever we tried to fill him in, he could not care less about holding, right? He would put it down, wouldn't even spin the laces, and he'd be off to quarterback drills before he even, he was literally letting go of the ball before the kick was coming through to hit it, because I'm going to go play quarterback. So that might be the harder thing, is who's going to hold it. Because you got a bad kicker in there, me, and a bad holder. I'm probably just kick it right into the back of the offensive line.
So one of my favorite stories is, and I heard Chewy and Jen and Gabe talking about it this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. They referenced Brett Favre taking over at quarterback. He did not play well in Tampa in week 2 of the 1992 season, and then in week 3, everyone knows the legendary story. Mikowski gets hurt. Favre's got to go in. They rally to beat the Bengals, who the Packers are practicing against tomorrow, and he had to hold for the ensuing extra point after he threw the touchdown to Kittrick Taylor. They win the game 24-23. So they have to make the extra point. Now, again, shorter extra point at the time. But Chris Jackie, and I remember one of my favorite stories I've ever done, Favre and I, on the 10th anniversary of that game, sat in the media auditorium at Lambeau Field, and we had a projection of the game highlights. So we sat and watched them together, and then I wrote about it for the State Journal. But we get to the extra point, and he has to hold for it, because apparently Mikowski was also the holder. Because they didn't always have you punters do it back in the 90s.
They realized they should put the athletes in there at some point.
Clearly, yeah, exactly. And so he's got a hold, and I swear they do the NFL Films close-up of the ball, and it's Favre holding it, and Chris Jackie's foot has not even entered the frame, and he's done this.
Oh.
And it is the only thing holding it up is the grass. And luckily for them, they make the field goal because then they win 24-23, the extra point. If they miss the extra point, they're going overtime.
Wow.
And the legendary story is not quite So legendary if you then lose to the Bengals in overtime. I'm going to totally nerd out on some punt talk today.
Ooh.
I just want you to be prepared for that.
I'm always ready for that.
I knew you were going to be here fairly early in the process, and the punting situation in Green Bay, look, everyone wants to talk about Jordan Love. Everybody wants to talk about the young wide receivers and tight ends. Everyone wants to talk about the defense. But I'm a little bit of a punting nerd, and I'm intrigued by what may be afoot there, pardon the pun, because I'm curious, especially as someone who punted in the league for as long as you did and had success as a young punter. The Packers have an interesting scenario unfolding where obviously whether you're a 39-year-old Mercedes Lewis or a 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers or anybody really over 30, not many guys left, but one of them is their 32-year-old punter, Pat O'Donnell. But they've got a young lad from Ireland. His name is Daniel Whalen. Good, not good?
No, it's pretty good. That was good.
I am part Irish. And
tell.
And he has got a huge leg. And so I want to get into kind of the challenges of developing into an effective punter. We will save that for later in the program because we have so much we want to get to today from the Bog at the ESPN was the now Woolie's got me messing it up. The 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open live from the Bog. We've got our favorite punter in as our cousin sub of the day. Brad Nortman is here. We are all set up. Is this the 18th green coming in toward us? If somebody flies the green,
yeah, we got to keep our head on a swivel.
Yeah,
for those initial groups, it would take a heck of a hook, I think, to bring it over by us.
Right? What if you're playing? You're thinking you're not going to get it there, and you use a club that gets you more distance than you're anticipating. It's landing right in our laps.
It is. We'll see how athletic we really are in that case. Coming in hot.
By the way, I appreciate you saying we there.
Of course.
It's only one of us.
You're an athlete.
Was a professional athlete. All right, we will be discussing all kinds of things, including a run-in that I had yesterday while I was in Milwaukee for Maddie's ballet practice. I feel really old this morning, like really, really old, and I don't think the kid meant to do it to me, but I will explain coming up after we hear from Tausch, I don't want to say the great beyond because he's just out of town, but from wherever he may be telling us about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Stick around. It's the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open live from the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Toscher here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Well, let's talk about the birds and the bees. Nature. We want to keep all of that out of our house, right? Well, the 250 series from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin include exclusive hidden screens, which can stay inside the window while you're not using it. And if you bundle and save that 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with exclusive hidden screens, you can pay as low as $188 per month. Now that's a good deal. Visit PellaWI.com today.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wheatrick family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
2023 is a very special year for Goodman's Jewelers. We're celebrating 90 years of serving the greater Madison area. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. Needless to say, that's a long time and a lot of great memories working with you, our customers. During these 9 decades, we've never deviated from our pledge to you, which is earning your trust, delivering top-notch service, and a selection that's second to none. Discover firsthand why Goodman's Jewelers is truly a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, Goodman'sJewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
What does it take to make a diamond? Extreme heat and pressure and about 1 billion years. But you can't wait that long. What do? You go to Goodman's Jewelers. I'm John Hayes from Goodman's Jewelers. There's a reason we are the Diamond Store of Madison. Since 1933, we provided outstanding service and selection to our customers. And that in turn has helped to establish countless great memories through the years. Goodman'sJewelers.com. Located at 220 State Street. Truly a destination worth reaching.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
With our cousin sub of the day, cousin subs, we believe in better, the great Brad Nortman. I love it. So did you have to take the day off from your real job again?
You know, the sacrifice I make for you, Jason.
Oh, God, you're such a team
The sacrifice
player.
I make for you. There's not many.
You're going to run out of vacation days just because of all the work you do with our show.
Lexi's going to say, hey, how about we go to XYZ? And I say, oh, sorry, hon, I blew them all to just be able to hang out with Jason during the day.
Honey, I'm going to Milan. Would you like to go with me? No, I spent the day with Wilde over at the Bog. I can't go. All right, so we are live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open. We've got the shotgun start coming at 11 o'clock. We will be here until noon, and then Brad is going to go hit some drives. You're not by chance a left-handed golfer, are you?
I am not. I'm a right-handed golfer.
Finally.
Is that a common thing in your occurrence?
Homer is a left-handed golfer. Mark Tauscher is a lefted-handed golfer. Gabe Neitzel is a left-handed golfer. Matt Hamilton is a left-handed golfer. I thought all of our talent, because Lord knows that I don't fit that category, I thought everybody was left-handed. We finally have a righty.
Statistically, I have to balance that out, right? I mean, statistically, that makes no sense that there should be that many left-handed golfers. And honestly, too, like, no disrespect to the left-handed golfers out there. And I've golfed with Tausch. It was a lot of fun. He's a good golfer, actually.
Long off the tee.
Long off the tee. But when watching a left-handed golfer, I almost can't watch him, right? It was almost like watching a lefty punter. My equilibrium just gets all thrown off.
He's kicking with the wrong leg.
Yeah, I was like, everything's backward. I can't watch this. He slices it and it goes the other direction. You know, you watch a lefty punter and the ball turns over the other way. It's too much. It's too much. But hey, I'm not discriminatory upon lefties. I just can't watch you because I get my own gears get all messed up.
All right. Well, we will nerd out on our punting a little bit later in the program. So last night, Maddie had ballet practice, so I was down in Milwaukee, and I went to Trader Joe's at Bayshore Mall.
Good choice.
You know, we don't have one of those in Green Bay, and I was picking up a couple of items. Sydney likes her dried strawberries that they apparently have there that are very tasty. So I get to the checkout, and I'm standing in line. There's one person in front of me, and the young fellow who's the checkout guy, who's probably roughly the same age as Dylan, who is one of our teammates that's taking pictures, which is kind of obnoxious. You know, early 20s maybe, and another guy, and there's a song playing on the loudspeaker, and he says, "Hey, Jimmy, do you know who this is?" And the kid's like, "No, I have no idea." And so I'm waiting in line, then I get to my turn to check out, and I said, I think that's Matchbox 20. He's like, "Yeah, you're right." He says, "I really like Matchbox 20. I'm like, "Yeah, I do too." He's like, "My mom loves Matchbox 20. And I thought, you were doing so well. We had a nice little connection there, nice small talk. Now you have to liken me to your mom. You're in your mid-20s. That makes your mom at least 50-ish, which is where I'm at. I obviously had kids a little bit younger, but what if she had kids a little bit older, like I did with the girls? Like, she'd be in her 60s, and that's the group I'm in now? I like to think of myself as young at heart. And
sure.
I left there with my dried strawberries feeling really bad about myself. Like, is Matchbox 20 old guy music?
I don't think so. And I'm going, okay, so we all have bands that we like that maybe it isn't the first band we say in a group of people that like we absolutely love and like to hear, maybe been to their concerts.
Okay.
Ironically, Matchbox 20 is one of those for me. I like Matchbox 20.
But you don't
I've been to the concert,
necessarily
but okay.
admit it publicly early in conversation.
But I'm still young enough because they were big in the mid to late 90s when I was a kid. So like there's good memories of them being like that 90s band, right, that you hear on the radio and you think of that, and even into the early 2000s. Now, what would have been really bad if the guy would have said, "What is this, classic rock?" Now that, then I think
golden oldies.
Yeah, right. What is this, the 70s station? I mean, it ages, it even ages me a little bit to hear something like that.
And you're much younger than me. Thank you for underscoring that point. Yeah.
But to be honest, like, I'm okay with it. I think you should be okay with it too. I don't think you should.
The mom loves it part was like I already knew that obviously they're past their prime. Like I think they still tour and take advantage of their incredible 90s success.
Yeah.
But like, so then it put me in a place, and this is what I wanted to bring up on the show. It put me in a nostalgic musical mood. So when I drove home last night, Maddie gets done with ballet and she starts reading a book and she's listening to her headphones because Lord knows she doesn't want to listen to what I listen to on the radio. So I put on Spotify and I was like, all right, who are the other like quintessential, like when I was in college bands?
Ooh, now this ought to be good.
Because I had also seen that the Packers had made an announcement that they're going to have a free concert featuring Stone Temple Pilots, who I didn't know they were still together because their lead singer, if I recall correctly, OD'd at some point, Scott Weiland. This is the kind of 90s musical knowledge I have. And Collective Soul is also playing.
Okay.
So clearly the Packers have decided that in Green Bay, either A, this is considered new music because we're so far behind the curve, or B, this is the kind of music that people like me want to listen to, so I'd come to the concert. So I picked Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Who?
See, now you're showing how young you are.
That sounds like a made-up name from a movie.
They were a big deal in the 90s. Trust me on this. So
What's their main song? I'm going to listen to it in the break.
I will play their entire playlist for you on Fast Forward during our 4.5 minutes in the break. But I was trying to think of what are the other like signature 90s bands, because that's old music now. I mean, it's 2023. Like Chewy was talking about going to the Pro Bowl this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy in 1998. That's 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of us that are in our 28th year covering the Packers, we lose sight of how long ago that really is. And between the Matchbox 20, My Mom Loves Them, and then listening to this, I just was curious. And Wooly, I don't know if you have this in your musical bank for the show, but I think we should play more 90s. Like that was the grunge era, right? Like I love Pearl Jam. I don't think anybody will make fun of me for loving Pearl Jam from my youth. When I was in college at Wisconsin, they had an old dumpy bar called the R&R Station. It's where I think the Kohl Center basically is now. And in 1991, there was this band that was playing at the R&R Station, and we lived a 5-minute walk from it. And I tried to get all my roommates to go, and none of them wanted to go. So I went to the concert by myself, and it was Pearl Jam.
Oh, no, that's a good choice,
in like
though.
A really small venue. It was really amazing.
Pearl Jam, like pre-popular Pearl
Like they
Jam.
had one, I think Jeremy was their only like semi-known song at that point. Like,
wow, how
10
cool.
had just come out. Yeah. So that was my cool moment. The rest of this is all my nerd moment because I'm trying to think of what other 90s, and you were a kid growing up, so I'm guessing like your parents might have played this music in the car. Like in the old school, like you lived in Brookfield, 94.5 used to be WKTI, the pop top 40 station. So I'm guessing when you were in the car, your mom and dad were taking you to all your little league sporting events. This is the kind of music that you would have had on. So the fact that you like Matchbox 20 from your youth is one good example. You don't have to be old like me to have examples for this music, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, that's very well said. And just for reference, your college years. Not to just put you on blast.
90 to 94.
Okay, so early 90s. Okay, that's helpful to know, just kind of like what eras we're talking about here.
And what grades were you in from 90 to 94?
I was 1 year old to
God,
preschool.
Yeah,
Preschool. I think I was in preschool at that point.
Where's Tausch when I need him?
Yeah, right.
47.
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that. So this morning, I got up, woke up. I love getting a workout in. And so we've got a stationary bike. We've got a TV in our little workout room. And I'm kind of running behind. So I quickly blast on 30-minute. What I got? Okay, 90s ride. So, and Emma Lovewell on Peloton did every top song through the year of the 90s. This is too crazy. We did not plan this conversation.
Not at all.
No.
Wow.
So she went like 1990, 91, 92. And let me tell you, the range on the Billboard top song for that summer, 90s had some range now. I think the 91 song was Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You, that song.
Boy, that'll really get you pumped up
Yeah,
on the Peloton.
it was, I think it was a climb. I think it was a climb in that song. And then the song after that was Baby Got Back. I mean, so she made the observation that we all clearly had, too, is like, man, what a pendulum swing, right? From like 91 to 92, what happened throughout the winter of 91 to make all of a sudden
So
Baby Got
you're
Back.
getting up in the saddle when you're excited about the Baby Got Back.
That's right.
coming on.
That's
Yeah.
right. You're trying to really activate the glutes on that song, right? Speak to the song a bit. So, I mean, other songs I think were like, I Want It That Way, Backstreet Boys. It ended up being very poppy, right? Which is kind of like...
Yeah, but that's another, that's not going to get, is that going to make you pedal faster?
No, there was a lot of like internal fire. I think there was a lot of like the
self-motivated.
That's right. But like turn up the power and kind of hit that steady one. So I mean, it was very interesting to hear. Genie in the Bottle by Christina Aguilera was on there. It ended up being a very pop heavy ride, which I was like, okay, fine. I haven't done like that in a while. I prefer like a 90s rock ride, like what we're talking about. Maybe a little Sugar Ray. I believe All Star from Smash Mouth was on there. That was a killer song. When that song came out, man, that song just blasted the airwaves.
Well, hey man, you're a rock star for helping that conversation. All right, I want to get to Rashan Gary's return, but I will put this out on our social media channels. I want your favorite '90s band, and the fact that you looked at me like I had a third eye, not to be confused with Third Eye Blind.
Ooh, another good one.
Toad the Wet Sprocket, you had no recognition of their existence at all.
I'm still under the impression you're making that up. You have to be. Toad and the Wet Sprocket?
All I want is for you to know that Toad the Wet Sprocket existed. All right, wow. I will play that for you in the break. We will talk about 90s music and more importantly, Rashan Gary, number 52, back in the Packers lineup. He did not do team drills yesterday, but he is off the physically unable to perform list. He did take part in practice. I'm guessing he'll only do individual work in Cincinnati tomorrow as well. But this is a great sign for a defense that, as we were talking before the show started, I am amazed at how much trash talking is coming from that group. They are really feeling themselves, and I wonder if it is well placed or not. We'll talk about that and Rashan Gary's return and lots of Matchbox 20. Still ahead, live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm coming!
Hi, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming!
Shoo, you need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens, protecting you from nature.
Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens as low as $188 per month. PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde. Show your excitement for the Brew Crew's return with Brewers Checking from Associated Bank. You'll get a one-of-a-kind Brewers Debit MasterCard, 10% off at the team store, and VIP treatment with Express Check-In through the Associated Bank gate. And for the ultimate all-inclusive game day experience for your crew, check out the Associated Bank Power Alley Group Space. Featuring a full buffet and private bar, the Power Alley overlooks left center field. And who knows, the next Brewers home run could be headed your way. Learn more today at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
I love being an orthopedic surgeon because I can help people improve their lives. My name is Ashish Raval. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Stoughton Hospital and the Ortho Team Clinic. My specialty is sports medicine, focusing specifically on the care of the shoulder, hip, and knee. So the goal for me is always to see patients who want to get back to their active lifestyle. The techniques that I use now allow patients to return back to the activities, including sports, faster than ever before.
Learn more at orthoteam.com.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
it's cold outside and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. Well, she said it's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault. And she only sleeps when it's raining.
So not only did Ryan tap dance as quickly as he could while we were having some technical issues at Fog, but now he could not have picked a more quintessential Matchbox 20 song for a kid that may not have been born when that first album of theirs came out. Nailing it. So well done.
I must say, until you texted us about Matchbox 20 last night, Jason, I did not know who they were.
Okay, I'm going to take back everything that I said just said.
Hey.
I will say, if you don't...
Was that even necessary?
Yeah.
No, I'm just...
It's like a kid at the grocery store.
No.
My mom really likes them.
On the back end of a compliment, right?
I'm not trying to... I'm not trying to
Feels
throw...
when I do that to him.
I'm not trying to throw insults. I'm just saying you turned me on to a really good band. I did not know about them.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly how I took that.
Yeah, as you should have.
Good.
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you. All right. Well, we'll sprinkle in some of the best of the 90s. I'll get this on our Twitter feed. I know Woolie's already getting some texts on this, so we'll get to those. But let's talk some football first. And Rashan Gary, look, I think Rashan Gary is a good to very good player. Tausch thinks he's an elite player. I would have loved to have seen, after he had 6 sacks in 9 games or 8.5 games last year at the time of his ACL injury, what his season would have looked like as a full 17-game slate. He has never had double-digit sacks, barely played as a rookie in 2019 when the Smith Brothers show was so popular. So I'm eager to see what his season will look like, but I'm not sure there's a player on this team that they need more than they need him. Maybe David Bakhtiari, but I'm not even sure if I'm willing to say that. I know you have a take on that. Which one do you think this team needs more than any other?
Well, and we talked about this a little bit, and both of them coming off injuries, so question marks for both. And to me, between the two, very important on offensive and defensive lines, but I think they need Rashan Gary. I think they need him. We talk about all these things that can help Jordan Love and help this team be a complete team. The defense just has to start stepping up with everything they've invested into it over the course of the years. Gary, first-round draft picks littered across that defense. They need to step up. They need to be able to allow the Packers to win games where they score 20 points, and that's a win. And that's not going to happen every week, but there needs to be a strength of this team. There needs to be an identity, and they won't have an offensive identity for some time. So then it's time for the defense to step up, and nothing disrupts an opposing team like a terrorizing edge rusher. And Gary has it in him, right? You've seen flashes of brilliance, and you know, if you were to track his career up to his injury, it felt like there was a bit of an ascension, right? Because 2021 was a good year, 9.5 sacks, if I think I'm correct. But so there was an ascending. That's what makes the ACL injury such a bummer, because you felt like it was a guy that was starting to literally get his footing and get his comfort level and figure out how to play at a high level in the NFL, which takes time to figure out. And the Packers need him to be disruptive. They need some superstars on there. And I think you've got some littered throughout. Jair Alexander, I think he's going to be an excellent corner this year. And there's a few of them throughout. Obviously, you got Kenny Clark. But if you're going to have a great defense, you need a strong defensive line, and you need a guy that you basically need to chip. You can't single team. And he should be that guy. That's why they drafted him. So they need him to be that.
So I think it's interesting because if he is healthy, I think they have a potentially fascinating pass rush group on third down. They've got Kenny Clark, who obviously is a pretty good pass rusher for a down lineman. Mm-hmm. And they've got Devontae Wyatt, the second of their 2 first-round picks, who I did not think was very good at all last year. He had a couple of flash moments late in the season. But I'll say this, he's probably, if not the surprising player to me in camp, and I know that seems strange because he's a first-round pick, but I didn't think he was very good last year, and I think he's shown quickness. I mean, he is, for a big dude, he moves, which was pretty impressive. So they've got those two. Then they drafted Lucas Van Ness. We know Preston Smith has been productive throughout the years. They have Quay Walker, who they want to experiment with in a variety of pass rushing situations, and then with Rashan Gary, and they still like Kingsley Enagbare, who filled in after Gary got hurt, and Justin Hollins, who played for the Rams for a while and came at Thanksgiving. They got a really nice, diverse group of pass rushers, but without Rashan Gary, then it's not so nice, right? Like, that's great. Lucas Van Ness is a 13th overall pick. I've seen him. He's strong. But as you know, it takes a while for pass rushers to develop a repertoire that allows them to do all the different moves and have counter moves, right? If you're a bull rusher and a guy like Tausch knows that he can just set and absorb your first blow, then you're not going to be as effective. So you have to have those counter moves. So I think having Rashan Gary back makes all those guys obviously much better, and that's why he's so important.
Absolutely, and you need a catalog of guys up there, right? Because if you just have one, right, let's just say it was just Kenny Clark and everyone else is just average, well, you can scheme against that. You can set up protections that will neutralize Kenny Clark and let's single team everybody else and give the quarterback all the time in the world. So, and there is, this is why for Wyatt to make the first to second year jump, and why maybe it took Gary some time to get his speed, and why Van Ness can maybe be disruptive, but I don't expect a whole lot from him this year, because all throughout their life, even if you played high level college football, you're still in a position where if you have two moves, that's probably enough. You can just overpower or run by guys most of the time. Maybe once you face an NFL caliber offensive lineman where you need to get a little bit creative, but now you're facing guys like Tausch every week, and those guys watch film too, so they're going to lock down your couple of moves. They're going to know how to neutralize it, and then it's like, oh, shoot, what do I do now? So that's where you see guys working hands. You see guys working one move to work into another move. Those are the guys that are really, really good. And what I think also it's important to realize, too, from a defensive standpoint, look, you hear this all the time. It starts up front, but it does, right? I mean, and why? Why does it start up front? Because if the defensive linemen are doing what they do, whether it be rush the passer or be stout at the point of attack for a run, it frees up everybody else. I mean, it takes the workload off of them so much more. The linebackers to make tackles, the cornerbacks to be aggressive in coverage, but they can be aggressive if they know it's a short amount of time that the quarterback's going to have the ball. So it really begins up there. And alternatively, if the defensive line isn't doing its thing, man, the task for the linebackers and cornerbacks, it just and the safeties, it becomes so much greater. So that's why they need to figure this out. That's why we've invested so much in the. There we go saying we again.
Have we?
Goodness gracious, that's hard to shake. And that's why the Packers have spent so much time, capital, and money to be able to have a stout defensive line.
There's lots of reasons why I enjoy hosting the show with you. One of them is every time I get to give you a hard time for calling the Packers we.
There's like an inner battle going on.
We, as reporters,
that's right,
heard from Rashan Gary yesterday talking about what it meant to him to be back out on the field. Here he is in the locker room yesterday.
Like I was telling the guys, man, it's a complete honor. It's a privilege to be back on the field. My circle, my family, everybody know what I've been putting into this, so I also told them that means a lot. You feel me? And I'm just happy and excited to be back out here with them.
I'll admit, 274 days from the ACL tear to being back on the practice field, I didn't think it would be that fast. Goody had told us during the offseason that he was ahead of schedule, but when you look back, there were some challenges for Elton Jenkins, and there certainly were lots of challenges for David Bakhtiari, multiple other surgeries and everything else. I thought that it would take longer. I thought they would be hyper cautious, and it says something about how well he healed. 25 years old, so he's still a young player, but I'm eager to see what he looks like, because when we watched him during his rehab, he was impressive. Like, he looked like he hadn't lost a step, and when he's going against big offensive tackles, I'm eager to see how he fares, because it looks, knock on wood for his sake, like he had a outstanding recovery.
Well, and sometimes it takes an adversity like this to make you appreciate where you're at. I mean, he was a top recruit in high school. He was outstanding in Michigan, first-round draft pick, and maybe he had some time to get his to get comfortable in there. And when he started to ascend, there was probably a comfort level there of, okay, I got this. But then an injury setback, it's not how you want to draw it up, because you'd like to just keep on seeing an ascension. But sometimes that's what it takes for guys to really have things click and be able to do the things that aren't that fun. No, there's nothing fun about an ACL recovery. Nothing fun. And you go from being in the spotlight to being behind the scenes. And look, they do the best they can to try to.
Did you have one?
I did. I was a freshman in high school, so I was young. But there's really a sense. So it is brutal. It's long. You feel like you take 2 steps back for every step forward. And eventually you start making those strides. But I'll tell you what, I never appreciated the game of football or basketball more than when I came back and started playing. The moment you feel like this could be taken away, it's actually easy to do the hard things. It's easy to do the things that maybe you just weren't really motivated to do because you feel it as more of a blessing and a privilege than it is like, yeah, I got this, and it'll always be there. So the mental side of it to appreciate the game. And I'm not saying that he didn't beforehand, but it's just different.
He talked to that.
You are different before and
points,
after.
Yeah.
So and that can be just as valuable over the long term because you need that to take your game to the next level.
We'll talk more about Rashan Gary's return and the joint practices that the Packers have this summer. They have one tomorrow in Cincinnati, and then next week they actually have 2 of them with the New England Patriots, who will be coming to town in advance of their preseason game against the Packers a week from this coming Saturday. So, joint practices, Rashan Gary won't be taking part in them, but he's excited about them. We'll talk about that as we roll on live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Wisconsin Open, live from the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ, you guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who was 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me. And that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. Brad Nortman is our cousin sub of the day. All right, Wooly, tell the truth here, because I was about to say, boy, I'm really impressed with Wooly's knowledge of 90s music. So are you pulling the Dave Matthews Band and Matchbox 20? Are you doing this yourself, or are you getting some help?
We have a lot of help from the ESPN Wisconsin Talking Text line today. Jeff and Monroe threw out the Dave Matthews Band as his favorite band in the 90s. Robin Madison also threw in Blind Melon. I was a little afraid to look up their music. Didn't know what I might find with that one. That sounded a little too...
All I can say is that my life is pretty plain is the first lyric of their song. They got like a song with like a kid dressed as a bee.
Yeah, I think I like to watch water gather rain. Might be the second part of the line. Yeah, I know my 90s music. Come on, I'm a 90s kid.
Another lead singer that met a sad end.
Yeah, I was born in
Blind Melon.
Born in '99 here, guys. So you got to really stick with me here on this one. Also, Matt in Tolkien Creek said, "Awesome throwback, Wildy. Had no clue who Toad the Wet Sprocket was until he searched it on YouTube to see who you were talking about. All he wants is a good song, but he never knows the band's names. You're not too old. He's only 42, and he likes those guys too."
See, that's nice. Give him an entry. Well, you dodged the question, though. How much of this do you know? At being born in 1999, which, by the way, was my first year as our lead Packers writer at the State Journal, and you were being born, are you familiar with any of this? Like, did your parents listen to – because it was – like, as you were growing up, some of this stuff was becoming oldies already.
Yes.
Unfortunately for me.
My dad might have listened to Dave Matthews Band every once in a while. He's actually on the older side. He was born in 1960. He's a big Eagles fan. I listened to a lot of like 70s rock growing up, so I kind of skipped the 90s a little bit when I was coming of age.
So what are you listening to now? Just out of curiosity, so I can know what a young, cool kid like yourself. Taylor Swift?
I'm not a Swiftie, personally. I mean, nothing against Taylor Swift. I'm just not someone who I really listen to. I listen to Quinn 92. Quinn 92 is an artist I listen to pretty often. Probably born in 1992 as well. Don't ring a bell with either of you guys?
Never heard of him.
Nope, not at all. Drake.
What kind of music is that?
Used to be Drake? Toad the Wet Sprocket.
I don't think he matches Toad the Wet Sprocket with his his genre, but Quinn 92 is more of like a poppy, a little more, poppy would probably be the best way to describe it.
Can you come back with him after our next break, or is there some language that could cause some FCC issues?
Oh, you don't have to ask twice, Jason. We can find some clean version of Quinn 92. He's good, wholesome modern day
wholesome
singer. Yeah.
Well, that's what we're looking for here on Wilde and Tausch because we know Brad Nortman is very wholesome.
Of course.
In your storied NFL career, any joint practices with other teams?
Oh, yeah, several.
Because they weren't as popular as they seemingly have become now.
Yeah, it seems like at least 2 different teams that any given team would practice with nowadays. We would do 1 practice generally with another team. When I played for the Panthers, the Dolphins came to the Panthers camp, which was a lot of fun. And then, lucky for them, they're going from Miami to Spartanburg, South Carolina at Wofford College, yes, where I think they looked around and said, I mean, maybe that's the point, right? Where what are we going to do but play football and sweat our tails off? And then I played for the Jags, went to New England. Actually, that was a lot of fun because that was the year after they won the Super Bowl from the whole 28-3 comeback. So the fan turnout was utterly incredible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to see Brady in action and just do his thing, and just the way that they went about their business. It was so structured. It was so buttoned up. It was something to behold.
A lot like the Jaguars. For
of course.
Much of their existence.
Of course.
So did you go talk to Brady?
I didn't. You recall my Aaron Rodgers story, right? I'm just trying to be in his orbit, basically.
I did.
Yeah.
I was trying to set you up because not everybody listens every day.
No, right.
But you've got a history of kind of being – you're like Jesse with Brett Favre. You're not exactly going to put forth the huge effort to, hey, I'd like – it's great to meet you. I'm Brad Nortman.
Yeah,
I'm
big fan. Big fan. No, I didn't, but I got close enough to him. There was actually – so at this point – I mean, man, I think he was turning 40, maybe 41. So you felt like he was in his twilight years, and he ended up to play at a high level for a long time. And you knew he was talented and all that. So my one Brady story from that time was you do 7-on-7, right? So you got the Patriots ones versus the Jags ones on the offense defense, and then the same thing on the opposite field, flip sides. But I'm like, I just want to watch Brady in this offense, right? You got Gronk and you've got Edelman and all those guys, right? So they're doing 7-on-7 and we're on their sideline, and they're snapping the ball at probably like the 30-yard line, kind of their own 30, and I'm on the 40, like their own 40, so like 10 yards further up the line on the sideline. I'm just watching, kind of like in the days. I already done my punting for the day, so now I can just spectate, right? I can just be a dude, just take it all in, right? Yep,
yeah.
30 minutes of real tough work, and then after that, it's like, okay, I can undo my shoelaces now and put on my tennis shoes and put my hat on and just kind of survey, right? And, I'm watching them, and, man, we had a good defense that year, right? That was the year that we went to the AFC Championship game, lost to them, right? Kind of comes full circle. But, we had good cornerbacks, we had good linebackers, and, man, they were tearing us up. It was unbelievable. It was, the ball wouldn't hit the ground. And there was one time that Edelman from the slot was doing like a 8-yard out, right? Something like that. So I'm just kind of in a daze. A daze sounds bad. I was just watching, right? But without any, just kind of taking it in as almost like a fan. And Brady like read, and then I'll always remember how fast the ball went from like the pocket or however they want to call it to like out of his hands, and it was one of those where the ball came like right at me, right, and like I kind of like jumped because it was on a line and it was in his hands and in the air and the nose pointing right at me before I know it. And you just see Edelman's like red gloves just pop it right in front of there, and then you turn up the field. And it was like a jump back moment, like, whoa, that just happened right in front of me. And I was like, man, Brady still got zip. And it's unbelievable how quickly he got the ball out. And you've seen it all that time, and you've seen it countless times in practice and in real life. When you see it in person with your own eyes, it just looks different. I mean, these guys, they move so quickly and they're so crisp, and it was just amazing to see that. So that was, I did get close to Tom and whatever, but it was cool. Yeah, close. Yeah, I got within arm's reach. Maybe we kind of like crossed each other, or like ships in the night. And
you are the king of great quarterbacking orbit.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it takes to be a friend, right? Like I was by him for a minute. That's right. But jokes aside, I actually like joint practices. It's a great change up to training camp. By the time you do, look, there's always like a fight, it seems like, in these joint practices. But the reality is there's fights happening a couple of days before that with your own squad.
Sure.
You need to start hitting some different people because it just at some point it wears on you, and you can't hit the same guys over and over and over. Or even if it's not hitting, if it's a wide receiver DB.
Right.
There's just only so much competition you can experience with your own guys that you just need to do it with someone else in a different jersey. And you kind of like wake up, you dial in a little bit more. So I think it's really productive and healthy, even if it means you got to leave the comforts of your own home for a minute.
Do the specialists get into it too?
No, it's very collaborative. The specialists are very collaborative. We hang out, we share secrets and stories, and it's very casual. It's very casual. We're all friends. All the specialists are friends. We'll hang out, and maybe even help each other punt. Or there's a bit of like, okay, I see how well you're punting. Now I'll show you how well I'm punting. So there is a little bit of gentleman's competition, but we would never articulate it, and we'd be only highly complimentary.
All right, I'm intrigued more by as much as I enjoy punting, and we will get to my punting nerdness, as Peter King might call it. But I am intrigued by the challenges of the joint practice, the benefits and the drawbacks, because you mentioned the fight. Last year, the Bengals had a joint practice with the Rams, and Aaron Donald tried to kill a guy with his own helmet, if you remember that.
Yes.
And I don't think the Packers have anyone quite to that degree of hotheads, but it is one of the other – the good and the bad I want to talk about the joint practices. The Packers will have one tomorrow in Cincinnati with the Bengals. We'll talk about that when we kick off the 10 o'clock hour, which we'll do in 2 minutes live from the Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Metro Florida Madison knows that inflation might be pinching your budget, and they want to help. With 144 new vehicles on the lot and offers like 3.9% APR financing for 66 months on 2023 Ford F-150s, 16.19 per 1,000 borrowed, now is the time to buy. Receive a $500 Visa gift card in 2 years, no charge maintenance included with new vehicle purchases. 90 days deferred payments available to qualified credit. The deals are at Metro Florida Madison. Learn more at MetroFloridaMadison.com. That's MetroFloridaMadison.com.
This is gold medalist Matt Hamilton, and you're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The Green Bay Packers with some very positive news on the injury front yesterday. Star pass rusher Rashan Gary was removed from the team's PUP list almost exactly 9 months after he tore his ACL versus the Lions. Gary was still limited to individual drills when he participated in practice yesterday. And here's what he had to say when asked if the second week of training camp was always his goal for getting back on the field this offseason.
Man, I've just been taking it day by day, just trying to check off as many boxes as I can, and I've been checking them off. I've been staying on track, and boom, it just ended up being this time.
Regular season's just over 1 month away, and it's still unclear if Gary will suit up Week 1 versus the Bears. Stay up to date on Gary's recovery and everything Packers this preseason at ESPNWisconsin.com. The Brewers won 12-1 over the Colorado Rockies last night at AmFam Field. Freddie Peralta had a career-high 13 strikeouts. Brewers still 1.5 games ahead of the Reds in the NL Central rankings. Game 2 of their 3-game homestand versus the Rockies is tonight. Wade Miley set to throw out the first pitch for Milwaukee.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Hour of Wilde and Tausch. I feel like my energy's better already. I'm not a sitter. Sitting is the new smoking, and the bees are all over.
The bees are making themselves comfortable.
The birds and the bees. It's like that Pella read that Tausch does. The 10 o'clock hour begins now live from the Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open. Brad Nortman is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. I was a little disappointed, frankly, when I watched Joe Thomas's Hall of Fame speech. I didn't hear a reference to Wilde and Tausch, nor to you. A little surprising.
I agree. I was waiting for it, edge of my seat, and
right after he thanked his dad for
right.
setting the example of how hard he worked and showed up at work every day,
Yep.
or cross-country skis to get to work one day. And Brad Nortman, too. Boy, did he set a great example for all of us.
I thought he was going to say, you know what, thank you to Jason Wilde and Mark Tauscher for giving me a voice in media, and I would be remiss to not think of Brad Nortman for carrying the torch on the Brookfield Central bandwagon. But hey, you know what? I get it. A text would be nice. Maybe I get a text. No text.
We'll take that up with Joe next time.
That's
we
right.
see him. I want to talk more about joint practices, though, before we move on, because I am really intrigued by them. I was giving you a hard time about whether the specialists ever get into brawls, but it is a concern, right? And when I think back to 2019, when Aaron Rodgers was very public about how much he hated the joint practices with the Houston Texans, I think his line was, "We hadn't done this in 14 years because they did it in 2005 with the Buffalo Bills, and I hope we don't do it for another 14 years." He was very negative. Now, as I said to Brian Gutekunst, I was having a conversation with him the other day, I said, for as much as it was wrong of Rodgers to complain publicly as much as he did, I did think he had a point. And that was, for that 2019 joint practices, the Houston Texans, on their staff, had the brother of Chuck Pagano as one of their coaches. And the Packers were opening the 2019 season against the Bears, whose defensive coordinator was Chuck Pagano. And so LaFleur, who is already, I think Matt would admit he's a little on the paranoid side when it comes to NFL head coaches. That's why the Family Night scrimmage isn't streamed live on the internet. I think he was worried that if he showed too much, that Chuck's brother would report back to Chuck. Well, if you do that, then the productivity of ones versus ones goes down to a level of, well, this is kind of like a preseason game. Whereas when the Jets came to town, when the Saints came to town the last couple of years, you don't have them on the schedule. There's no connections there. And even Aaron Rodgers would have to admit that those practices were much more productive. The other thing he was concerned about, though, were fights. And we did have some of those during the Houston camp. When you were at the joint practices that you did with Carolina and Jacksonville, other than two punters going at it, were there other fights that occurred?
There was one between the Panthers when I was on that team when we had the Dolphins in town, and there was not one in New England. I think everyone was too darn scared to do anything out of line, because to the coach's credit, they make a big deal about it. They're like, look, nothing dirty, no takedowns, we don't want anyone getting injured, everybody up unless we say anything different. And they really set the tone. And there was one guy for the Dolphins, I remember, that kind of like decleated a receiver.
Okay.
And I mean, that was one of the most eviscerated humans I'd ever seen, because like the coach just got after him. But again, it was like setting a tone that's not allowed.
Right.
And got kicked out of practice. So
he got booted out of practice.
Booted out of practice. So the tone was set earlier that that's not okay. I think now those was the early phases of joint practices.
Right.
So I think
It's
everyone
a
is
new
trying to figure it
phenomenon.
out. So now it seems like there's been enough that you understand what's expected and what you can do, and most importantly what you can't do, or at least what you shouldn't do. The fights part of it is very interesting. I don't want to say it's like bound to happen, but to get scrappy and to get a little bit maybe after the whistle, it's almost expected, right? You don't want it to happen, and it would take a very complicit team or a very intimidating environment like New England for that to really not happen, because you're so scared of the consequences. That's overwhelming in your mind, even when that urge bubbles up, right? But I do think there are bad matchups. There are bad situations, like we were just talking with the Rams and the Bengals, right? That was a bad situation. Those teams just played each other in the Super Bowl, and now you're going to joint practice with them. I wouldn't want to, if I stayed on the Panthers and didn't go to the Jags, and we had a joint practice with the Broncos after we lost them in the Super Bowl, I wouldn't feel good about that. I would guarantee there'd be some bad blood that would carry over. I would even talk to guys. There's quite a few guys that stayed on the team. If you remember, the Panthers opened with the Broncos in Denver the first week of the season. They did the ring ceremony, the whole thing. The Panthers hated that. Like, there's some things that you just don't do, and I get it. You're trying to get ratings, and it's Super Bowl rematch, whatever. But that's just a bad situation. You got to let those emotions die down.
And the melee, I'm surprised, frankly, that Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, is even doing a joint practice after what he saw happen with Aaron Donald last year. I mean, that was really ugly. Now Zach Taylor and Matt LaFleur are friends. They coach together with the Rams. But Sean McVay and Zach Taylor are friends, and that still happens. So I think what it says to me is these are so valuable that you're not going to let an incident like that prevent you from doing them because they're so valuable. And that's the part that I wanted to get to with you because, like you said, when you were doing it, it was still kind of in its infancy. There weren't many teams doing it. And now it seems like everybody, if you have a road game in the preseason, you are going to that place early and you're going to practice with that team. That just seems to be standard operating procedure. And the reason it sounds like, when you listen to all these coaches talk about it, is that it's a controlled environment. Your quarterbacks are all still in their red jerseys. I know there's a couple teams that wear, I guess, different colored jerseys if their team color is red. But you know what I mean. And the idea of having Jordan Love, for example, see a different defense, a different number one unit, and not be in danger of being decapitated by a unblocked guy that comes free is very appealing. In addition to that, though, it sounds to me like it's almost become the alternative to playing the guys that matter to your football team in preseason games, and it has led to certainly some questions about how much Jordan Love will actually play in the preseason game they're playing against the Bengals a few days later. When you look at these scenarios, and you've obviously known a lot of coaches during your time, do coaches love having control over things? And to me, this feels like the epitome of I can control this environment way better than I can control a game environment.
Well, you're certainly right. It's much more controlled. And the coach, the opposing coach, also has the same amount of desire to, elicit control over the situation. And it's funny. I think that when we started doing these joint practices, I do think it's a good idea. I do think it's something that can go a little overboard. In the NFL, it's a weird phenomenon, right? Somebody starts doing something, and then everybody else copies it, and before you know it, it's just norm. And that's just what you do.
You're right.
And I feel like at some point, maybe there'll be a reconsideration of like, okay, do we need to do two different joint practices, or it's just one? It's just one with one team enough. I do think it's valuable. I think it takes guys out of their comfort zone too. And look, all of training camp is about taking you out of your comfort zone, but it's just the next step of discomfort. And I think it's beneficial. I wouldn't go as far as saying that it can replicate a game, though. And I think it's the coach's desire to have that be the case because, look, it's much more safe. I think it's very, very, very unlikely that you're going to get injured in a joint practice. I would say it's more likely you get injured in one of your normal practices than it is to get into a joint practice because the joint practices, it's so reinforced. Like, do not hit anyone below the waist and don't take anybody down and nothing after the whistle. I mean, you hear that over and over and over. So you're more likely to get hurt in a normal practice than a joint practice. But I don't think anything can replicate a game rhythm. I mean, I really don't.
Even with the limitations of vanilla defenses, vanilla offensive play calling, all that stuff.
Yes. I just think there's something unique about a game rhythm that's different, right? Because you go, even if you say, okay, we're going to do situationally, ones versus ones, Packers and Bengals, you're right here, and we'll put 2 minutes on the clock and whatever. It just doesn't have the same hype. It doesn't feel like a game as far as the rhythms of, okay, we were off the field, we forced a punt on defense, now we have the ball. There's certain shifts of momentum, and there's certain ways that you approach it that just feels different. Everything about a practice feels watered down, right? It feels like practice. A preseason game, and I know we'll get into this later, as far as like how much Jordan Love should play, but I loved him. Most guys really appreciated them unless you're like a super vet, right? And I just don't think that is replicable in practice. Even a joint practice.
Even if you're able to show things and run things, because film will not be available to the other 30 teams as it is for a preseason game. I do wonder if that's one of the things where, all right, we at least we don't have to go all vanilla because we know the film will be available. All right, I want to talk more about preseason games with you because I am intrigued by that rhythm part of it, because that is something Jordan Love does not have that experience with. We'll play trivia coming up a little bit later. One last question, though, because this is one of my pet peeves, I guess, about one of the other things that has happened, a trend in the NFL, not going away for training camp. The Panthers still practice. I have a friend who works for the Panthers. They still practice in Spartanburg. The Packers, they're not, I mean, it's not like they went far away anyway to De Pere, but at least they had guys staying in the dorms at St. Norbert College. And I'm just, and I understand this is the NFL, this isn't 6th grade girls basketball or softball, given my coaching experience. But I really do believe in that bonding process and how important it is. And I'm curious, having done it at the NFL level, how important do you feel that is? Because it would appear that has become less and less important, and now it's, these young guys, they want, some of them are in a hotel, so I guess they can bond when they go down to the front desk. But it's not the same as being in a dormitory at a college 100 miles, 200 miles away from where you're going to be working once the season starts.
I agree, and I don't want to necessarily sound like the get off my lawn guy, but I think it's a lost appreciation to be able to take these guys way out of their comfort zone, just focus on football. Like you said, so for the 4 years, well, back up to Wisconsin, we had our training camp, unlike the current Wisconsin Badgers that are going to Platteville for the week. We had our whole training camp at Camp Randall.
Oh, you did?
We did.
So, because Tausch is from the seminary era.
Yep, that was gone by the time I got there.
Wow.
So all we did was Camp Randall. So obviously as a freshman, I think we stayed at like the Regent. But besides that, you stay in your own dorm or house. So it didn't feel ultra punishing, I guess is the right way to put it. And I'm not sure training camp should be, but it just felt easier. I can go home to my own bed, my own space, recharge. It just felt easier, I guess.
No.
And when you leave your world and you go somewhere that is a college dorm, or even in Jacksonville. So we had it at the Jags facility, but everyone had to stay in a hotel downtown. And we lived by the beach, which was like 20 minutes away. So there's something about taking you out of your environment. And even when you put your head down to sleep and you wake up, it's I'm here because of football. I'm waking up, I'm here because of football, right? You're constantly reminded, like, football is the focus. There's no distraction. There's no going home. And I think that's super valuable. And some of the funnest memories, quite honestly, are those environments. And maybe I wouldn't have the same type of friendships I had if not for those. Because a lot of guys in the NFL, they've got wives and kids, and they're trying to, like, clock in and clock out to be that family man. Can't blame them for it. But when you are alone there, you're not rushing through meals. You're kind of enjoying one another. Friendships deepen, teammate bonds deepen, and your discomfort deepens. And I think that's better for a team. And my goodness, you are so happy to come back home.
Right.
And you hit another gear. I'm home. Let's go. Preseason's almost done. Let's start the season.
We'll talk about the idea of how much Jordan Love should play in the preseason. Matt LaFleur talked about that a little bit yesterday, and he's playing coy with it. It sounds like it is the plan for him to play some against the Bengals, but I would wager that it will be less than most Packers fans would like to see of him. Selfishly, maybe it's not less than they think he should play because they want him to stay healthy, but I think there's a lot of us that want to see as much of Jordan Love as we can see. I don't think that's going to be the case. We'll talk about that next with Brad Nortman as our cousin sub of the day as we roll on live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball. Raise your game.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Alex Stroh. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview of the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Dash the Dane. That's right, Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company has expanded their delivery offerings with DoorDash. New customers get $5 off your first order of $25 or more. And don't forget, Dash Pass subscribers always receive free delivery. Order delivery today at GreatDanePub.com or on the DoorDash app and get food delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994.
Matt Hamilton here for Iron Jock. Believe it or not, being an Olympic curler takes a lot of practice time on the ice. And despite always being cool, I still work up a sweat. That's why I love Iron Jock and their no-stink technology. Silver Iron technology is the how behind why it works, and that is about as technical as I can get with it. What I do know is that if I'm on the ice or just wanting to look good, I know Iron Jock has t-shirts, polos, and hoodies for me. Support this Wisconsin-based company today and get gear at ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to madisonmoneyguy.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
All right, Wooly. We were doing really well. But Achy Breaky Heart by Miley Cyrus's dad was not on the list of great 90s songs, in my opinion.
Man, to even call him Miley's dad. He doesn't even get the Billy Ray.
That's what I was going for there, to underscore again my
message received.
Age.
That one
right.
is actually courtesy of Levi and Plover. That was the first 90s song that came to his mind. So, I don't know if Levi and Plover falls in my age demographic, but Achy Breaky Heart's still a classic.
Well,
whether you like it or not.
We like Levi a lot more than we like Billy Ray Cyrus. Let's leave it at that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about preseason action here. And obviously, Matt LaFleur talking yesterday about Jordan Love and being very coy with whether or not he's going to play much. When you look at preseason, even you haven't been out of the league that long, but how much have you seen it change from you playing to you watching it now as a NFL and college football expert like you are?
Well, it's changed quite a bit. It's become de-emphasized, and I think it's viewed more as an evaluatory tool for bubble players, and if you can avoid playing vets, you do that. I mean, I remember the normal rhythm of, it was almost textbook, right? 4 games throughout the last game. No main starters are playing the last game. But first game, you'll play 3 series. Second game, you probably played till the early second quarter. And third game was approached like a game. Like that was the dress rehearsal, and we approached that one as serious as we could. Always wanted a good opponent for that game. Obviously, you're not in control of your schedule, but when, for instance, we dialed up, if you're playing the Patriots, it's like, this is great because we're going to get what feels like a real game for at least a full half. And I just remembered that game particularly being focused on and trying to really replicate a game. And I felt like it was beneficial for the team, for the coaches, for the players. No matter how you shake it, even the most stable organizations, you have a whole new cast of characters, right? Coaches, players, even just getting a rhythm for the sideline, right? Like you're making sure your guys are in the right position, communication between coaches and coaches to players. The players, getting in the rhythm of, okay, I warm up now and I'm not playing for another hour, right? So there's just certain things about a game that you just can't replicate in practice. So look, I get it because you don't want some, the 80th man on the Cincinnati Bengals to come and try to be a world beater and take out Jordan Love's knee.
He's trying to make the team.
For sure. I can't blame him for a minute. But that is the scary situation that's teed up for any given team, and you don't want that. And so I guess I understand the decision to de-emphasize preseason. But, man, I thought it was valuable. And I sure liked him. Even in my later years in the NFL, there was just something about – there was always like a little bit of nerves for that first preseason game.
Right.
You could get that all out of the way. And by the time you hit week 1 of the regular season, it felt like, okay, I've done these now. If anything, I felt like in college football where, bang, we're starting off with live bullets. It's like, whoa, holy cow, we got a full stadium. We're going now. So there is a bit of that easing into it that I think is really beneficial. I would like to see Jordan Love play for some time. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'd like to see him play for a half.
All right, well, put your Matt LaFleur translator hat on. Here is Matt LaFleur yesterday discussing the topic of Jordan Love's preseason playing time.
We'll make a decision on Jordan. We've definitely talked about him going in this game and quite frankly, playing everybody in this game. There might be a select few that don't play, but yeah, we'll get more into it as we approach the game.
So I never thought he wouldn't play at all because of his inexperience. But if you said, all right, I will give you an ice cream cake if you're right, because I'm not much of a bettor, but I love ice cream cake. I'll give you an ice cream cake if you're right. How many series will Jordan Love play? I would probably say 2 or 3.
Yeah, at
most.
Yeah, I would probably I would guess 3, and I would probably have the over-under be 2.5, so like right where you're at. And I'd love it to be more. By the way, DQ ice cream cake, or what kind of ice cream?
Well, they
cake?
do have that nice crunchy
they do.
stuff in the middle.
It's
there.
really nice. Nice little cookie.
Yeah,
I get that. Anyway, so I'd like to see more. I don't think you can do less though. I mean, what would one series do? You have to do at least 2. You think there's any way he gets to 4?
And then how much does he play the following week against New England?
Yep.
And then I would wager that he won't play at all in the last one.
For sure.
I would think it'll be Clifford and Mr. Magoo that would play in that last one now that they moved on from Danny. I love preseason football. I know that sounds like the most ridiculous thing, but I love Hard Knocks, which we'll get to. But what I love about it is I love that 80th guy who's trying to be the 53rd guy, right? And those are the cool things about preseason. I am risk averse as they come. Like Ted Thompson, when he uttered that famous phrase about wanting to put all his guys in bubble wrap, I'm right there with you, man. I am a helicopter parent and a helicopter beat writer. Like, I don't want guys getting hurt in meaningless games. I'm totally on board with that. But that's why the Love thing is such a fascinating dilemma. This isn't Aaron Rodgers. We know he doesn't need it. We know Jair Alexander doesn't need it, and Preston Smith. Those guys shouldn't play. I agree. But a quarterback who has one NFL start, a quarterback who we are basing our optimism about on really 10 snaps against the Philadelphia Eagles, he needs to play in football games. But if he gets hurt, no offense to Sean Clifford and how everybody has been impressed with him, and now there's a buzz about him. Sean Clifford is a rookie 5th-round pick. He's not C.J. Stroud. Like, he is not a slam dunk 1st overall, 2nd overall, top of the draft pick. If you get Jordan Love hurt in Cincinnati and you're going with Mr. Magoo and Clifford the Big Red Dog this season, and then you don't find anything out about Jordan Love because he got hurt in a preseason game, like that is my nightmare scenario if I'm the Packers.
I totally agree. And if that's the case, I really don't know what you do. You might just try to, depending what the injury would be to Jordan Love, just not, NFL doesn't want to use the word tank, but maybe you set yourself up for a good quarterback class next year, but you'd hate to get to that point after all this time and all this drama to set Jordan Love up for success. For me, I think it was Mark Murphy that said something to the effect of, like, he needs at least 8 games to be able to evaluate.
Half a season.
Half a season, right? And,
quiet part out loud again.
Yeah, right. And, okay, if that's the pulse in the building, look, it's going to be an up-and-down season. Like, that's going to be 8 games is not a very big sample size to say this is our guy for the next 10 years, or at least to extend him to a 4-year contract and make quarterback money. So, to me, I would say you need to put him in as good a situation as possible to evaluate. Now, we could talk about no veteran receivers and no veteran tight end and all these things that maybe put that in jeopardy. But the biggest thing is you need to see how he is, and you want to see him hit the ground. If he has 8 games, if he has 10 games, even if he has 1 season, I want to see him hitting the ground running week 1. I can't have 3 weeks of him working into it.
Right.
So
that's another part of it.
That's my feeling on, okay, if this is an evaluatory season, is Jordan Love our guy? If that's the main narrative of the 2023 Packers season, is Jordan Love the guy? You need to get him out there and evaluate him. You need to get him as comfortable and as quickly as possible. And I think preseason plays a role in that. But I understand. And it's hard when you see – these coaches see injuries every day, so they're constantly reminded of what can happen. And man, it wouldn't be the first time, and it would be an utter shame if he did get hurt.
And look, you can do everything you can to try and game plan around that, right? You can run the plays that have him getting the ball out of his hand quickly, right? And certainly that's a major component of this offense anyway. So it's not like you'd be running things that aren't important or germane to your offense. But all it takes is that one play where there's a breakdown and he has to hold it and then he has to buy time, which is also part of this offense and part of his game, and things go – and again, I hope none of this is anything to worry about, because I want Jordan Love to play 17 games this season. I want a full year of evaluation, and I, in my opinion, think that it's not a make-or-break year for him unless they're like 3-14. I think we're going to get a whole nother year of him improving and seeing how good he is in 24, and your hope is that you're a playoff team by then based on the way Goody has built this team and the things he said about Mercedes Lewis when I asked him about it the other day. So I want as much as I can get of Jordan Love. I am torn on how much I want to get from him in the preseason when I know what the risk is. But there's no doubt he needs the experience, so it's really hard for me to say play it safe with him. I just don't think you can do that. You're going to have to absorb some measure of risk in your fact-finding mission about your new starting quarterback.
Well, and I'm sure if you or I were to ask Jordan Love point blank, how much do you want to play in the preseason? I'm sure he'd give us he seems like a really good soldier, says the right things, not going to rock the boat. So I'm sure he'd say, well, I'll leave that up to the coaches. I just want to do my best,
exactly
all that
what
kind
he
of
says,
stuff.
yes.
But I would love to know behind closed doors what his conversation with LaFleur is.
I think he wants to play.
That's what I think. I think he wants to play. I think he'd want to go out there and actually be like, I'm ready. Put me out there. I want these reps. So, and I'd be surprised if he wouldn't. Honestly, it would show a little bit of a lack of competitive spirit if he didn't.
Right.
So that's the interesting component I want. Does that play a role? If Jordan Love says, Coach, I want to play a full quarter, do they allow that? Or they try to protect him against himself? But that's the line of thinking that I haven't quite heard yet, is what does Jordan Love want? Because he might know where he's at, and he might know what he needs to feel comfortable week one.
Let's talk more about quarterbacks. Let's talk about the release of Danny Etling, because what it means for how they feel about Sean Clifford and Alex Magoo. We'll talk about that next, and then we'll play trivia to end the 10 o'clock hour. So stick around. Live from the 2023 ESPN Milwaukee Dells Open at the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and our family, we have been looking to make the switch to solar for quite some time now, and we weren't even really sure where to start. And then we met the team over at Everlight Solar, and from the very first conversation, they have kept the process simple while also educating us on the benefits of solar. And man, are we happy we did. Not only are we saving a ton of money, but we're also creating a greener environment for our family and the whole community. Learn more at everlightsolar.com and schedule a no-cost consultation today.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. I love locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits, so it's a no-brainer. I choose Door County Distillery, which uses local ingredients for their wide array of whiskeys, brandies, rums, vodkas, gins, and a whole lot more. Available at your favorite retailer, or if you're headed up to Door County, find them on Highway 42 near Carlsville, where there's year-round sampling and sales. And by the way, head over to their website for a huge list of unique cocktail recipes. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com. DoorCountyDistillery.com.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. We're the trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. There's a reason so many customers recommend us after we help with their projects. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
Matt Hamilton here for Iron Jock. Believe it or not, being an Olympic curler takes a lot of practice time on the ice. And despite always being cool, I still work up a sweat. That's why I love Iron Jock and their no-stink technology. Silver Iron technology is the how behind why it works, and that is about as technical as I can get with it. What I do know is that if I'm on the ice or just wanting to look good, I know Iron Jock has t-shirts, polos, and hoodies for me. Support this Wisconsin-based company today and get gear at ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball, raise your game.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
Now Woolie's like a 90s grunge radio DJ taking requests in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. That one goes out to Erica in Milwaukee, which is interesting because she picked Creed, which her guy Aaron Rodgers would make fun of all the time. So I'm intrigued by why she picked that. I'll have to get further information. All right. I want to talk a little quarterbacks, then we'll get to trivia, then we'll get to the Brad Nortman hour, punter's choice, I'm going to call it, in the 11 o'clock hour, because I know you have a lot of stories that you wanted to get to today. We will also get to some of your 90s music, so keep those coming in via social media and the talk and text line, 844-770-3776. This is a no Billy Ray Cyrus zone, though. That we love Levi and Plover. One was more than enough, although I guess given Billy Ray Cyrus's career, I'm not sure he has any others. So, in fairness to him, but his daughter has a lot of great songs. All right, let's talk quarterbacks, and let's hear from Matt LaFleur because he was asked yesterday about the release of Danny Etling, who was on the practice squad for a period in 2021, was on the practice squad all of last year. So, the guy with, other than Jordan Love, the most experience in the system. But they drafted Sean Clifford in the 5th round. They obviously are big fans of him and his potential. He's had some good moments in camp. And they like Alex Magoo, the reigning USFL MVP. So Danny Etling was the odd man out. Here's Matt LaFleur talking about where this team is at in terms of the quarterback position.
Well, I think he's been here for quite some time. And, he did a lot of great things. Obviously, he was such an asset in the room, more of a veteran presence than the other guys in terms of just being able to, he's learned a lot of football from some really good football coaches, and he was great in the room. He was super supportive of Jordan, and it just came down to just trying to, more or less give the other guys the amount of reps we felt like we needed to see.
Did you ever get cut?
Yeah, against the Jags cut me.
And that was the end of Brad Nortman, punter, and the beginning of Brad Nortman, incredibly popular radio host and investment expert.
Right.
Ted Thompson used to tell this great story, and I think this is one of the reasons, a quick tease to your Hard Knocks conversation. This is one of the reasons why they were never on Hard Knocks, is because he never wanted cameras in there for the cuts. And when he got cut, he used to tell this story about he spent 10 years with the Houston Oilers, and he thought he was going to be back for his 11th season. He had made the final cut, and then they had a holdout, I think it was a second-round draft pick, who signed after training camp ended, and so someone had to go, and it was Ted. Mm-hmm. And Ted tells the story about how he went into the office, and by the time they were done telling him how great he was and what a great teammate he was, he was like, wait a minute, why am I being cut? Sounds to me like I should be a starter now. What was your, and if this is painful, thank you for sharing anyway.
Of course.
But what was that? Because you listened to Matt LaFleur, and when he gets done talking about Danny Etling, we're like, oh, sounds like he should have been challenging Jordan Love for the starting job. And instead he's unemployed.
It's certainly a it's not you, it's me kind of situation whenever you get cut. And so, I was with the Jags for 2 years. We went on that run to the AFC Championship game. And just, the hard salary cap and, a lot of mouths to feed. And they drafted a guy that Saturday in the sixth round, I believe. And, he was going to make a quarter of what I was going to make, a quick cap savings. And then the next Monday showed up. And I thought I'd at least get the ability to compete against him.
Right, in camp.
Yeah, and I was actually, hungry for that opportunity because it had been some time since I had a true competition. And so I was like, let's go. I can't wait to show this rookie what's up, and never got the opportunity, which is very frustrating. But, got kind of the tap on the shoulder from our strength and conditioning guy. Said, hey, coach wants to see you. And given the draft the day before and then that, I was like, I know where this is going. So going to it was Doug Marrone was the head coach at the time, so went into his room, and it's the same thing, right? He's like, you did so much for us. We think you're a great punter. You're going to get picked up right away, and honestly, stay close to your phone because we don't know how this kid's going to do, and we know how good you can be. So just keep working, keep doing your thing, and you've been nothing but great. And then, I went to the special teams coach, basically said the same exact thing, and then your locker's cleaned out. It's so bizarre. It's super weird because, look, they're not going to say, I don't know, you suck, peace. They're just not going to say that. And honestly, I think very few people.
But in fairness, you didn't.
True, that's true. And very few people would deserve that, right? Because for the most part, it's a cap type situation.
I've seen
it's a
guys
numbers
come
thing.
through that deserve to hear.
Okay, that's fair. But it's frustrating, and I can appreciate the mercy that Ted Thompson allowed for all those guys coming through as Packer players, because it's highly emotional, right? And you go through it, and you have got a lot of different emotions. You feel a bit betrayed. You feel a bit confused. The uncertainty is just totally clouding your thoughts, and to have that guys are quiet. When they usually throw that on Hard Knocks, guys are pretty quiet. They don't have much of a response because you're kind of in shock, right? And even if you see it coming, there's something about it of I just gave so much of my time and body and my heart to this, and so quickly it's over, right? And so if you're lucky, you can swing on to another team just to probably get cut again, because that's just the life of the NFL, and you see it. You got buddies that go through it, but until you go through it yourself, there's really nothing quite like it.
So then what was your next step after that? Did you – because, I give you a hard time, but Tim Masthay and I became good buddies.
Mm-hmm. And Tim's a great guy. I love Tim.
And after Tim got cut by the Packers, he wasn't necessarily sure that he wanted to keep punting, and so he kind of stayed in shape. He was working out for that year, and he got a couple of calls, but then he was at a point in his life where his kids were little. He had made good money in the league. He had other skills, and he's like, you know what? I think I'm good with what I accomplished in the NFL, and he called it a career. How did it play out for you after the news from the Jags?
So I always tell people that being a free agent in the NFL, whether it be you're actively trying to get in or you're actively trying to retire, it's like a very bad girlfriend, right? Like a very bad ex-girlfriend, because the moment you think you know what, I'm okay, she reaches right back out to you and says, hey, you want to go for a date? Because that's exactly what the NFL teams do. So I got released at a really bad time.
No
right?
doubt.
The worst time that I could be released, because
Thanks a lot, Doug Marrone.
Yeah, really. Come on. Because all rosters were maxed out at 90 men. Right, because you just had the draft, and they just filled it with all the undrafted free agents.
Guys, right?
So you got 90 guys, and so you started, but in May, it's okay, well, to bring Brad on for a punter competition, I need to release another guy, and that's a really hard thing to do. I'm going to release linebacker 7 in order to bring in punter number 2. That's just a really hard thing.
Sure.
So we got told over and over, and a couple teams stayed really close throughout. We got a young guy, we don't know how he's going to do. Stay ready. Stay ready. Stay ready. Stay ready. That's all I keep on hearing. When the season started, I was one of the main guys on the tryout circuit, right? So I had 6 workouts throughout the season. And some of them were just trying to keep the board fresh. Others were our guys struggling and we don't know, and we need to have an option here. And there's 2 times where I got sat down and they're like, our guy is struggling. If he keeps struggling, we don't have much longer of a leash. Like, you need to get into game rhythm. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And the guy, they stuck with him on both of those situations, and it just didn't happen. So usually between struggling or injury, there might be like 2 or 3 punters throughout the year that make it onto the team. There was 0 punter moves that year. 0.
No kidding.
0. So, I mean, a bad time to be released, as far as the schedule, a bad year to be a free agent. And then by the time next season rolls around, there's another crop of rookies. There's another crop of guys that get released that played in the previous year.
Which
so
you
just
didn't.
Right, and you just get pushed down the workout list. And eventually got pushed off the workout list, of course. And then it's like, well, I guess it's over. I guess I'm not playing football anymore. And there was one time, I'll try to make the story brief, but we were with our friends in South Florida, and usually if you get signed, you're going to be signed by Friday, right? Because they want to get you in the building and get you traveling and stuff. So we went down and hung out with our friends in South We're still living in Jacksonville. This is the first year I was released. And we're with them, and I get a call from my agent Saturday at noon. We're just out to lunch. And he's like, hey, apparently Logan Cook, who's the rookie they drafted, who's still there, he's a great punter. Apparently he cut his toe this morning, and they don't know if he can punt today or for the game tomorrow.
Oh my
And it's
God.
a home game. So could you be ready given the opportunity? And I was like, heck yeah, I could be ready. So we started coordinating these plans to get back up to Jacksonville and hustle and be there by meetings. And I got a call 3 hours later, and they're like, you know what? They wrapped it up. They tested it out. He's going to be okay. But he's like, it was 50-50. So I was like, that close to just.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. So close. And again, that was like, oh, you're a bad ex-girlfriend because I was over you.
Right.
I was over you,
Right.
and now I'm that close to getting back together. So that's why this process takes a long time to get over the game.
All right, I want to talk punting during the 11 o'clock hour too, because I am intrigued by that lad from Ireland, Daniel Whalen. I also want to talk about how careful you apparently have to be with your feet if you're a punter. Does Lexi do all the cutting of items at home during your playing career? Don't be cutting onions or anything and drop the knife. All right, we will get to that a little bit later. We need to play trivia first, though. Wooly, what's today's category, and what caller would you like?
So we have been talking about my age a bit here on the show this morning, and I actually turned 24 just yesterday, guys. So congratulations to me. Thank you. So I decided I would curate some 24 trivia. It's not 24th birthday trivia necessarily, but it's trivia related to the number 24. So you can imagine.
I love that idea. Well, then, now
Very good.
You know what that means. You're
Caller
stuck
number
with
24?
Caller 24. Caller 24, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Wooly is standing by in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, ready for your call. Caller 24 for Wilde and Tausch Trivia. We'll play that coming up. Tausch will tell you about Coors Light now.
Mark Tosher here, and if I'm not hosting Wilde and Tausch, odds are I'm out enjoying a cold, refreshing Coors Light. Whether you're celebrating a big win or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light, it is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains, oh, those mountains. On Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans turn blue. That's when you know it's chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Stoughton Trailers. Big trailers and big opportunity at Stoughton Trailers. Positions now open in production, operations, finance, sales, engineering, supply chain, and more. To apply today, go to stojobs.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL, and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ, you guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who's 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me. And that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovative tech. Summer's here. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in car and driver 10 Best history.
See your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin.
See dealer for financing details.
Mark Toscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. Well, it's always a good time to get that special someone in your life a beautiful gift. And when I'm in need of a new piece of jewelry, Chalmers Jewelers is my go-to place. Whether I want a timeless classic or a one-of-a-kind piece, Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison has just what I'm looking for. My life has been made so much easier thanks to the great team over at Chalmers Jewelers, and is the reason I keep going back for more. Visit chalmersjewelers.com to find your perfect new piece of jewelry today.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Hey, it's Alex Strofty. High school football season is just a week away from kicking off, which means this Friday at 6, it's the Coaches Roundtable with 14 area high school football coaches. And from 8 to 9, it's the No Huddle Preview with Jesse Nelson and Dennis Semrau.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
We're on the Packers.
The NFC is mediocre to below mediocre.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
The Packers are not going to be some cellar-dwelling stink pot.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Future was so bright. The old neighborhood was so alive. And every kid on the whole street was gonna make it big and not repeat. Now the neighborhood's cracked and torn. The kids are grown up, but their lives are worn. How can one little street swallow so many lives? Chances run, nothing's free. Longing for used to be. Still it's hard to see. Fragile lives, shattered dreams.
Time now for trivia as we celebrate Wooly turning 24 years and 1 day old, apparently. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Tex on the road. Tex, good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Where on the road are you currently?
Main Street.
Main Street
and
in Menominee Falls.
And it's a suburb of Milwaukee somewhere. I'm not too familiar with them. I'm from Lake Mills area.
We don't want anybody knowing where you are. We'll keep you and Tausch both get the from an undisclosed location treatment here on Wilde and Tausch. All right, the category is Wooly turns 24. All these questions have something to do with the number 24. Here is question number 1. Tex, which actor is best known for his role as Jack Bauer in the Fox action drama series 24? Is that Kiefer Sutherland, Gerard Butler, or Jonah Hill?
Oh, I had a feeling a question about this was going to pop up, and that's my man Kiefer Sutherland, man.
Nice. All right, we're already doing better than things went yesterday.
Confident answer right there.
Love it.
All right, question number 2.
Another outdated reference for me, by the way. This show 2004. Show 24 started when I was 2 years old, by the way.
Oh, so we had when I was in college, we actually had 24 viewing parties. It was a big deal.
Wow.
24 was so good. It's so
Never
good.
seen it.
Oh,
Never
so
seen
good.
it. Oh, man.
Dude.
Clear your schedule
Long
if you
live
do.
Jack Bauer.
You're not going
I'm
to
just
want
to watch 24 straight hours.
That's right.
Right? Can I do that?
That's how they drew it up. Okay, question number 2. Which of these international auto races is won by the car that covers the greatest distance in the span of 24 hours? Is it the Monaco Grand Prix? Is it Le Mans? Or is it the Tokyo Challenge?
Okay, not as confident on this one. I'm going to go ahead and guess A.
The 24 hours of Le Mans.
For a roadster,
All right,
I was expecting
bounce.
better there, Tex.
Let's nice.
it.
All right, let's bounce back, Tex. Let's get question 3 here. Aaron Rodgers was selected with the 24th overall pick in the 2005 NFL Draft. Which of these fellow 2005 draft picks was not selected before Aaron Rodgers? So, as Jesse likes a convoluted question as much as anyone, 2 of these 3 players were selected before Aaron Rodgers. Which one was not at number 24?
All right, I'm following you.
Cedric Benson by the Chicago Bears, running back, R.I.P. Frank Gore, running back by the San Francisco 49ers. Or newly minted Pro Football Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware, edge rusher by the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, again, not confident on this one, but I feel like at one point in my life, I was surprised to learn that Frank Gore was drafted after Aaron Rodgers, so I'm going to go with that, Frank Gore.
Well done. All right. 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
That gives you 3 of the possible 4 entries into our drawing on Friday. Tex, hey, drive safely. We appreciate your loyalty to the show, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Stay cool.
All right, that is Wilde and Tausch Trivia, and that leads right into Punter's Choice, the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with our favorite punter. I know I say that you're not, but you are. And our cousin sub of the day, Brad Nortman. The 11 o'clock hour kicks off in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Subscribe to watch Wilde and Tausch, Scouser and Brust, and all your favorite daily ESPN Wisconsin shows, plus interviews and bonus content. Subscribe to ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. The Packers with some very positive news yesterday on the injury front. Star pass rusher Rashan Gary was removed from the PUP list almost exactly 9 months after he tore his ACL versus the Detroit Lions in Week 9 last season. Gary was still limited to individual drills while participating in practice yesterday. Here's what he said when asked if he was planning to return to the field by the second week of training camp while speaking to reporters yesterday.
I mean, I've just been taking it day by day, just trying to check off as many boxes as I can, and I've been checking them off. I've been staying on track, and boom, it just ended up being this time.
Stay up to date on Gary's recovery, just 1 month out from the regular season, and all things Packers this preseason at ESPNWisconsin.com. The Brewers won 12-1 over the Colorado Rockies last night. They're still a game and a half ahead of the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central rankings. Game 2 against the Rockies is tonight.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
O'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Brad Nortman in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, I just want to explain the kind of teammate that Brad Nortman is. Okay, and by the way, I'm working on a story for the State Journal. This guy has to be the best teammate I've seen for a player who's as good as he is. But I told the story to Tausch the other day that I'm standing talking with Aaron Jones and one of his veteran teammates, a name you would know, not a like low on the totem on the roster depth chart guy, comes and asks him to go get him food from the cafeteria. And if I'm Aaron Jones, I am telling this player, no, get your own food, right? Aaron Jones, oh yeah, sure. Do you want me to leave it in your locker? That's the kind of teammate he is. So, and he has been, without question, the most supportive Jordan Love cheerleader that I've come across. So I talked to him a little bit about that. It was a really good conversation. I'm going to write that story for the State Journal coming up soon. But you're not far behind.
Oh, wow.
Here I say, it's punter's choice, and Brad Nortman's our cousin sub of the day. We haven't given you the opportunity to talk about what you wanted to today. And you're like, well, what do you want me to talk? You want to talk about this? No. Punter's choice means you choose.
Wow. Well, to be in the same conversation as Aaron Jones, who is one of my favorite. I don't know him personally, but everything I've heard about him and see.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Just a great guy. And you don't get that out of running backs very often. Not to blanket, running backs as whoever I might be insinuating.
Almost the selfishest wide receiver, basically,
right.
Is what you're saying.
But, I mean, the guy, that's the exact kind of superstar leader you want that can kind of shepherd and keep comfortable a young quarterback. So I think that's super cool. Okay, so there's a couple things that I put out there. We're going to start with the headliner. Okay, you might as well just go right into it.
Okay.
So I was thinking about Hard Knocks, which is on tonight. And I know our listeners don't want to hear much more about Aaron Rodgers, the New York Jets, and all that. And I totally agree.
This is why I like that you brought this up, because you're going to find a way to talk about Hard Knocks without talking about Aaron Rodgers. You're such a pro.
That's right. Well, he might be in there a minute. But I was thinking, you know what, gosh, so Hard Knocks, when I was playing, I didn't want to watch Hard Knocks at all. It's like I'm literally living this. I don't need to see this in my entertainment time. But since I've left, I've actually really enjoyed it. And they always have Liv Shriver do the Liev Shriver. I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. But
L-I-E-V. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is he's got an unbelievable voice.
Unbelievable.
Like Ryan Williams, our marketing director, he's got a great voice too. I can see how people get annoyed with my voice.
No.
Liev Schreiber, not getting annoyed with his voice.
Well, so that's what I was thinking about, and I was like, gosh, he's obviously doing this narration on a quick turnaround because they use the footage of the week, quick turnaround and produce it and put it out there. But there's an actor's strike going on. So I was like, is he actually going to be doing
question.
Is he going to be doing the voiceover? And there's a writer's strike. Who's writing his narration? So I thought I'd solve that problem. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring to not only write but narrate tonight's Hard Knocks episode. And I've got it written up right here, and darn, I think it's pretty good.
Wait, you wrote up like a
Yes.
hypothetical narration?
Yes, like how they like
Oh!
yes, it's going to, and I got to say, we do have headlines and stuff. I put some heart into this. So I think you're going to like it. Think of it as like the 1 or 2 minute like intro in, and they're just kind of getting it. They're setting the stage. That's right.
Now wait a minute. Now Wooly has done a great job today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He tap danced when we were having technical issues. He's come up with 90s music. Wooly, do you have the theme to Hard Knocks to be playing underneath this?
So
I should have given you more time.
No,
and if you don't and can find it, we can do this next segment.
No. I wasn't sure if there would be copyright issues with getting it from HBO and everything, right? Because it is their property, it is their song, it is the theme music. But I was thinking we could just use the NFL Countdown music, ESPN's. Would still work pretty well for this segment, wouldn't you think?
I'd rather have
It's not
you
the
risk
same.
violating a variety of rules, considering how
I can
much
make it
we
work.
play other music on the show. All right, before you do this, then, you were never on Hard Knocks as a player, or you were?
I was not.
Because you were on enough bad teams where I would have thought maybe you'd had the opportunity.
Oh wow, that's I'm never quite prepared for those little coy lines, Jason. Never on it. The closest I ever was on it was the Dolphins. Separate time from when we practiced against them. They were Hard Knocks. I think it was my rookie year, and we played them second game of the preseason. So there's like just footage from our game and footage from pregame. I don't think I ever made the actual cut of me like, kind of like a ghost in the background, kind of like entering and exiting the scene.
Getting into the orbit of the quarterback was being filmed.
So that was the closest I'd ever been to it. I had some teammates that have been on it though, and I don't think guys love it, to be honest. I think they feel it feels a bit invasive. It feels like it changes, kind of the vibe of training camp and becomes more of a showcase. But darn it, it's so great as a fan.
I do love it. I know some people think it has gotten stale. I don't. I just love all that behind-the-scenes stuff. And they always pick that player that's going to be the one we're all going to be really rooting for to make the team.
Yep.
And, sometimes they make it and sometimes they don't. All right, Wooly is ready.
Okay.
You are ready. Now, you have come up with a theoretical scene from tonight's premiere of the New York Jets on Hard Knocks.
This is like the narrator laying out the whole season type of thing. So I'm going to hit multiple different things. Ready when you are, Wooly. New York, the city that never sleeps. Likewise, as the eventful offseason of the New York Jets proves, the NFL season never sleeps. Over in New Jersey, there's a familiar face in a New Jersey, Aaron Rodgers.
I like that.
For this mercurial quarterback, Mr. Rodgers has a new neighborhood. Rodgers won't be able to escape into the darkness in this city, where the lights shine brightest and the spotlight is always on. Just like Broadway, everyone has a role to play, even that of the coaching staff. Nathaniel Hackett, proving that he can still truly hack it, reunited with his quarterback. Head coach Robert Saleh, a man that has shown his ability to sculpt his shoulders and calves. Can he sculpt a winning football team? With the dawn of a new NFL season, training camp presents a feast for the senses. The smell of manicured and newly cut grass, sights of freshly painted white lines, the feel of dimples of a football, and the sounds of modern gladiators colliding. Perhaps the strongest scent is the only thing that can overpower the smell of the New York City streets. That's the scent of ambition and hope. A fragrance Jets fans hope linger all the way through February. It might be the hottest year on record for both the planet and the expectations for this New York football team. Will the Jets take liftoff? Or will the Big Apple take a bite out of them and spit them right back out? Time will tell. The journey begins here on Hard Knocks. Am I hired by HBO or am I hired by HBO?
First of all, I didn't realize that everyone who is not participating on the course right now was going to listen in and you'd have a studio audience.
Yes.
But, look, I'm not going to lie. I went into this with high expectations. And you totally exceeded them.
Oh, wow.
You got to work on your Liev Schreiber cadence. Like he holds the drama of telling the story a little longer.
He does.
But in the interest of being on time on the show, it was beautiful.
That's right. I'm just being a team player. I'll sacrifice the segment.
I said you're the greatest teammate. All right, so do we know, like, you actually raised the question that I did not think of until you brought it up. Like, is he narrating it? Like, he is the voice of Hard Knocks. Like, if it's somebody else, it's just going to feel like, because I feel like there's been a couple of years where they did use someone else, and it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah. His voice is so branded perfectly for the show.
Right.
And if they don't have it, I feel like I'll notice. For sure I'll notice. But I don't know if he is filling in. I wouldn't think he would. I mean, I would think this actor's strike is pretty blanket across the page, assuming he's in it, which I would imagine.
Maybe they used AI. They just took samples of his voice.
Now you're going to really
Tausch
bring
loves
up
his AI.
Yeah.
All right. So you will watch tonight?
I'll watch.
Yeah, I will too. I understand that there is a segment of the Packers fan base that does not want to see Aaron Rodgers ever again, which seems really strong, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's another segment that only wants to see him like 7 or 8 years from now, whenever it is that he comes back to Lambeau Field, because I think it's going to be a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he's going to play for a little while here, and then it's going to take a while for him to come back. But I think there's this other group, and maybe they're in denial, but I think there is this other group that is really interested or wants to hate watch him that aren't going to be able to help themselves. I'm really eager to see what their ratings numbers look like.
Me too. I think they're going to be pretty good. This has got to be one of the more anticipated Hard Knocks in some time.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, ever since Mark Murphy told the world that they were going to be on, I think we've been.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a complicated
all right. I thought that there were a lot of players that wouldn't like this. You mentioned this earlier. I wanted to get back to this point. That guys don't like this because it's invasive. And I talked earlier about Ted Thompson and not wanting to have guys get cut on television. So I'd be curious, though, like, do you think Aaron Rodgers is embracing it? Like, because I traded some messages with him before they played in the Hall of Fame game, and he said that he had already been told that the Hard Knocks cameras are going to be following him all game. And then he did, like, the 20-minute interview or whatever that was during the third quarter. Even if he didn't necessarily want to do this, I feel like once he's in the moment, I think he's going to see some opportunities to embrace it. So I'm really eager to see what he looks like tonight.
I think it would benefit him greatly to embrace it. I mean, he's got a reputation and a view from fans that's kind of all across the board, right? And part of it is what he has led us into and what he's talking about, and his appearances on Pat McAfee. He's also very smart, so I don't think that anything is not calculated. And I think it'll be smart for him too, and I think he will use this as an opportunity to come across as likable and new and refreshed. And I think we saw that from the quick glimpse of him, celebrating Zach Wilson. In the Hall of Fame game, right? And I think it would benefit. I think he's going to do that. And honestly, I'd like to see that. I mean, I've seen enough of like the strange, angry, rebellious Rodgers. I'm ready to see more of the in-line, kind of like the one we had between 2010 and 2017.
Yeah, I'll say this: I really enjoyed that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really did, and I think a lot of other people will as well if that's who he lets in. All right, we've got more from our Punter's Choice 11 o'clock hour, and I do want to get to my lad Daniel Whalen at some point as well. So we will continue live from the Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. We have our first 18th hole foursome. I'd like to point out they put the ball right on the green. We were never in danger.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
They're pros. Pink ball, too, I see out there. You see that?
Yeah.
I like that.
We all have our favorite color.
That's true.
We look forward to more golf and more Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wheatrick family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Treat yourself to a new shower this summer. Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you over. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
When you're injured, call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 30 years and proudly partnering with Wilde and Tausch. Miss any of the show? Find it with Wisconsin On Demand. Presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Jim Rutledge here. If I sound lighter and fitter than I ever have sounded before, that's thanks to Carbon World Health. I had hit a wall in my efforts to lose weight while maintaining muscle. Then Dr. Ness Rodriguez introduced me to semaglutide, and I've dropped over 20 pounds in weight, and I have my body fat percentage at 10%. Semaglutide is the game-changing weight loss treatment you've seen all over social media, and it's available to you at Carbon World Health. It's FDA approved and will burn fat, not muscle. Go to carbonworldhealth.com today to set up a consultation.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball. Raise your game.
Hey Madison, it's Dan Andrews from Simon Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. By now you know that you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simon Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. But what is a better buying experience? It's a car buying experience that is custom to what you want and need. We can be your trusted expert, or we can be hands-off until you're ready to purchase. If you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Chevy truck or SUV, make the short drive to Simon Chevrolet in Mount Horeb and see the difference a better buying experience can make.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance, because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
The Spin Doctors with frontman Chris Barron. Two Princes, Little Miss, Little Miss, Little Miss, Can't Be Wrong. And that's, I think, the list for Chris and the Spin Doctors. I think that's the compilation. Their greatest hits album. That would be it.
That's it. Just 2 tracks.
And I like Chris. Big fan of his work. All right. Punter's Choice, the 11 o'clock hour. We have now heard you as the narrator for Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got for us?
Well, remember last time I was on the show, we did some traveling, and I got flight bumped, and we talked about the flight credit and all that kind of stuff. So another flying story, if you will. Nothing as dramatic this time, but slightly dramatic. Lexi and I went down to Jacksonville last week, which was lovely.
Were you being put in the Ring of Honor?
They're still selecting the date for that, Jason. They're still working out logistics, and I will graciously accept whenever they extend that invitation. Until then, I'll just be a casual attender of the city of Jacksonville and wave from afar.
Who would we put in there? We got Blake Bortles. We got Keenan McCardle.
Yeah. You got.
Who was the punter? Was the punter who chopped his foot with the axe? Was he with you when you were there?
No, he was.
Chris Hansen, I want to say.
Yes, that's it. Good memory.
Thank you.
That was that story is epic in there. And actually, I don't know if I should share this, but the video guy, who's like the main video guy, like apparently when that happened, they're like, get this out of here, all that kind of stuff. And they're going to see that axe again. He like kept the axe. So it's like in his office.
Oh, really?
Yes, I got to see it. I got to see the actual.
Did he have
video
video of the chopping of his foot?
No, thankfully no. Thankfully no. I probably would have said the axe is plenty for me. My mind can do the rest.
Jaguars.com. We take you inside the emergency room.
Yes.
Okay.
So we go down there, and it was great. We saw a bunch of friends, and warm. Nothing like going to Jacksonville in the peak summer, but warm, but lovely. Had a great time, spent some time on the beach. We're flying back. Of course, there's no direct flights from Milwaukee to Jacksonville or Jacksonville to Milwaukee. So we go through Atlanta. So we get on the flight, and we have about a 2-hour layover. Plenty of time. More time than I would like, honestly. I think the perfect layover time's like 50 minutes, something like that. So everyone gets boarded on the plane. We're in Jacksonville, and all of a sudden, we all get strapped in. They close the door, and they say, "Hey, folks, sorry, there's some weather issues that's kind of going through Atlanta. The airport has put a full stop on it, and we can't do anything about it, and we have got a delay." Now, this is where my question comes in. Would you rather the pilot tell you exactly how long the delay is, even if they know how long it is and it's a long delay, or would you rather say, we'll touch base in 15 minutes and let you know?
I always want all the information.
Okay.
This is, having grown up to be a reporter, I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, I want to know. Tell me, even if it's bad news. Now, I'm eager to hear how long the delay turned out to be, because if they know it's going to be long, get me off the plane so I can at least walk around the area and go get, a Dunkin' Donut or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't leave me on the plane if it's going to be 2.5 hours.
Well, so it was an hour 20, they said. So we're like, okay.
That's on the border.
I know. So and there was sort of a collective, like, what hour 20, right, on the flight, right? And Lex and I looked at each other, and we're like, okay, well, we should see a little to make it as long as we take off on time. But you know how these delays go, where it's like, okay, now sorry guys, now it's an hour 45, whatever. But I actually appreciated the honesty, because quite often I'm kind of in your camp, like, just give me that level of expectation. I would rather hear that than be like, because I think that's a thing in the airline. We have a little delay, a little short delay, right? They kind of like, and then we're going to check in again, and they come back on 20 minutes later. I feel like they think it's more palpable, more digestible for the patrons. I'd rather just give it to me right away, because then we can think about it. And I went back to watching my movie, and so anyway, so they get to the point, and then
was it Oppenheimer? Tausch wants Oppenheimer to be on the airplanes, even though it just came into the theaters like a week ago.
I wish it was Oppenheimer. I'm dying to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can go after.
I feel like I'd go. That'd be fun. It's a 3-hour movie, so we gotta strap in. That's right.
To spend time with
yeah,
me,
that's
by
right.
the way.
We've already done
At least
3 hours.
Talk to me.
Yeah, right. So I just basically was subject to whatever Southwest had on its entertainment app and watched Super Mario Brothers. It's pretty good, actually.
It helps you pass the time.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, I'll just watch my movie. So anyway, they're like, okay, it's going to be some time, and so they opened the doors. They did let people come and go, and they're all of a sudden starting to change people. They're like, okay, who's going to Baltimore? Who's going to San Antonio? And they're like, we need to get you off and go someplace else. So I was like, oh my goodness, like what are we next, right? So eventually they figure it out, Atlanta opens back up, but there's still this like stream of weather that's kind of working its way to Jacksonville. So they're like, all right, guys, all right, we figured it out. We're gonna be able to leave. It's probably after like an hour 10, so it almost was the full deal. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go like around the weather system. So it's gonna take a little bit longer, but we're gonna get you to Atlanta. And there's like, the estimated time to land is like 8:55, and our flight's at like 9:10. So we're like, oh no. So we go up and around, and we land, and you do one of those. I think we were like 10th row. We do one of those like, hey, excuse me, whatever. And we ran to our gate. We made it, thankfully.
Wow.
But we made And it was
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, it wasn't terribly far, but it was one of those like you hold your backpack tight and do like that like runner's shuffle kind of thing. And man, I swear you always see people in Atlanta running. And I was just trying to think like, is there a more stressful feeling than anyone trying to make a connection? Like the look on people's faces and the look on mine and Lexi's face of like, we got to get there. Let's go. Like, time to get on your horse. And there was other people on our flight, and we eventually told them, hey, we're coming in from Jacksonville. There's more people, but they kind of held it. So,
God, what a good. See, again, best teammate. Even the flight.
Even the flight attendants. Yeah, the flight attendants were super great about it too. And but I was just trying to think of like, man, what other super stressful scenarios are there that is in that same ballpark of you're trying to run to the connection, and maybe being stuck in traffic when you're late. I mean, I feel like everything, when it has like a time component on it, really makes it stressful. So we made it, we survived, but it just got me thinking about that. Like, what are one of those stressful environments that's got to be up there, right?
Yeah,
With trying to run through an airport,
no doubt,
trying to make a connecting flight.
Anytime you're worried about being late for anything, it's stressful, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But if it's basically the difference between you getting home and not, like, even if it's a connection where, all right, well, at least there's another flight at 5:30 and you're trying to make a connection at 2, fine. But that, I'm guessing you don't make that connection.
It was the last one out.
You're spending the night in Atlanta.
And then you go through the thing of we shouldn't even taken the flight out of Jacksonville because at least we got friends there and we enjoy staying there as opposed to whatever hotel they put us up in.
How does a professional athlete run through the airport when he's running late holding his backpack over his chest? You could not have looked as athletic as you actually are.
Oh, no, I was going to say athletically. That would be the adjective I would use to describe. I mean, well, Lexi's very athletic. She's fast, right? She was a runner, and
I wasn't. There was.
So I'm trying to keep up with her. So it's probably not pretty because I'm trying to keep up with her, but
yeah, I was trying to avoid bringing her into this because I know she's an athlete. But if I was going to embarrass someone, I don't know her. I wanted to make sure I was embarrassing you with your running style.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you do kind of like the pro shuffle, right? Where like your feet never get more than like 2 inches off the ground, and they're just like it's a really fast shuffle. You see that before?
And when I do that, it's more of a waddle.
It's a waddle. It's like a glide of sorts.
Yes, well, that's why you're the athlete. All
that's right.
Let's. I do want to get to my punting nerddom before we get to Woe Wooly, and that is about Daniel Whalen, who grew up, was born and raised till I think age 13 in Dublin. Played at UC Davis, was undrafted. But has, and this is where I want your expertise, also if you know how to get rid of wasps, that would also be a good expertise right now. He's got a huge leg. Like, when they swing away, he's like 5+ seconds of hang time, 60 yards is like typical for him in the practices we've seen, and that's not wind-aided. But there's more to your job, as you obviously have taught us, than just, I can kick it really, really far, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so but the reason I'm curious about him primarily is not because of his big leg, but because he's 24, 25 years old. And that seems to be the type of player the Green Bay Packers want on their roster. And I look at at Pat O'Donnell, who I talked to in the locker room, and he's a great dude, right? Mm-hmm. Most of you punters are.
Yep, I know Pat.
And when I talk to him, he immediately was like, Jason, are you trying to get rid of me? Well, no, but I think Goody might be.
You said
right?
that?
Like, you're 32 years old. It's you, Bakhtiari, Devondre Campbell, and Preston Smith. Those are the 4 guys that are over 30 years old.
That's incredible.
And I said, I'm just saying, if this kid can hold okay, they got a rookie kicker. They have one experienced long snapper, and then they have a rookie long snapper in. But if they're going to go young and inexpensive, and I did this not knowing how things had played out for you, and I knew you had gotten released, so that's why I asked about it. But I didn't know that it was like we drafted a guy, we're done with you deal, and we're going to save money by doing it. Because in Pat O'Donnell's case, if you have Daniel Whalen, he also costs a lot less than you. And they're not strapped for cash cap-wise, but still, if you're going to go so young, why are you keeping the 32-year-old punter around? And so I'm curious, if you're in Daniel Whalen's cleats, what do you have to show to make them say, all right, it's worth it, even though he maybe is not as developed, obviously, as a 10, 11-year punter like Pat O'Donnell? What does he have to do in this camp going forward?
Well, a couple things. One is to show that he can handle the moment, and that is stepping up in situations like family night, preseason games, joint practices. There are times when you can sort of replicate a game, and does he rise to the occasion or does he shrink? And because there are plenty of punters like golfers or tennis players or whoever that is kind of a solitary sport where it's at least half mental and half physical, that the moment comes and they can't perform for whatever reason. So that's a big one, right? No matter how strong your leg is, when the spotlight's on, can you deliver? So that's the biggest one. But then it's not just like, can you just bomb away balls? Can you control it to fit that into a game plan, right? Because when you're punting against, the likes of these great returners like Nixon, right?
Right.
They're I mean, maybe not as good as him, but they're all over the league. I remember in college, we would game plan against maybe 2 returners, where it's like these guys actually have game-breaking type of speed and agility and evasiveness. But man, that's every week. It's crazy. I mean, it's every week in the NFL. That's like, this guy's a game breaker. He can take one back, and it's just like rinse, repeat. So can he use that but control it? Because they don't want the ball going 60 yards down the middle of the field and leaving their guys, 20 yards of space before they even get close to him. So can he take that power? Can he harness it? And you can't replicate this too. December Lambeau, right? How do you as much power as you have, you can't punt through 20 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour power wind. That takes finesse and that takes control. You can't really replicate that, but you can hope that he grows into that. And Pat has dealt with that, and he's from his time in Chicago and Green Bay. So, and then finally hold. Can he hold? And that, that's the decision maker a lot of times. And I'd be curious if some of Carlson's success or failures that he's experienced so far this season, has it been the same holders?
It hasn't always been Pat O'Donnell, who is an accomplished holder.
Okay.
Now, there have been some misses with both of those guys holding.
Yeah.
The one miss he had on family night, I don't think was hold related. Like, I think it was O'Donnell that was holding, but it was a bad snap. And so it took him, or maybe it was Whalen, but it was a bad snap that started, and as you well know, the operation gets out of whack, and then it doesn't matter how good of a kicker or punter you are. Once it's out of whack, it's pretty tough to get it back.
It is. It absolutely is. But, make no mistake. So given all that, make no mistake, if the team wants the young guy to be the guy, they're going to give him every opportunity to be the guy. And they're going to hope that it is. And they'll even take a season of lumps to get it there, because if there's a youth movement going on in Green Bay and we want to go cheap and we want to go young and we want to peak in whatever, 2-3 years, then this is the time to do it. What you really want to have when it's all said and done is a punter that is just like, go out there, I know you can execute, and I can sleep at night. Kind of same thing with the kicker, right? It's like, we don't need to make 60-yard field goals. We just need to make 49 and in, and like make 70% from 50 or whatever. So there's just a certain level of peace that a reliable specialist can bring. There's so many other things to worry about on an NFL football field. They just want to set it and forget it with specialists, and that's the best thing that they can bring. It's just like, I'm going to arrive into the moment, I can deliver no matter how big or small it is, and here, watch me show you. So I'm encouraged by the Irishman who is can come over here and play this American football, and it's cool to see the beginning of another career. And if they do go with him and Pat gets released, I would imagine he's right up there with first guy up to be able to fill in somewhere. It's a good position to be in, to have a good young guy and an experienced vet.
And I'm not sure Whalen is a good young guy. He's had a couple of he obviously has a strong leg, but and again, the holding thing, you're right, that is a major factor. And how much do you want to risk some struggles for your rookie kicker who you've anointed as your kicker with an inexperienced, comparatively speaking, holder? Those are all the decisions that they have to make.
If anything, a veteran kicker would most likely have a voice to say, this guy can't hold, get him out.
Correct.
Right? So a rookie kicker like Carlson might have enough restraint or a lack of experience to not feel like he can voice and say, Pat's better, like you can't go with that guy. And if it was Mason, Mason's not that kind of guy. But like,
no,
if there
Mason suffered through bad holding.
Yeah, and
regardless,
and he was genuine and great throughout. But there are plenty of kickers that are 10-year plus veterans, and they say this dude can't hold. Like, don't keep him. I'm going to do terrible. You want me to do terrible? I'm your expensive old kicker.
Right.
So that is always the X factor, and that's the expectation.
We will shift gears from punter's choice into Wooly. He's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, reminding you there's no better product and no better taste than Grassland Dairy. Training camp marks the start of a new season in Green Bay, and you know how important it is to start well. It's true with the preseason preparation in football, and it's true for you every day. That's why you enjoy a full breakfast, complete with the pure and delicious taste of Grassland butter. The ingredients for Grassland Dairy have always been locally produced by hardworking dairy farmers right here in Wisconsin. Butter better with better butter. There's no better product and no better taste than Grassland Dairy. Learn more and check out some delicious new recipes at grasslandbutter.com. Grassland Dairy, crafting butter for 5 generations.
Medicine Money Guy Christian Finfrock here. Struggling to understand retirement planning, life insurance policies, or managing your wealth? Listen to my show every Saturday at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN, or call me right now at 208-1800 for a complimentary consultation.
Olson Toon has been customizing both residential and commercial outdoor living spaces since 1997. Matt Hamilton here from ESPN Madison. For over 50 years of combined experience in their management and design teams, Olson Toon has become one of Wisconsin's premier building and landscaping outdoor living firms. Landscaping and maintenance, irrigation, concrete work, pools, and more. If you have an outdoor living need, Olson Toon is here to help. Go to olsontoon.com to get started on your home project today. That's olsontoon.com.
What does summer sound like in a new Chevy? Find the best way to the ballpark with the Chevy Equinox navigation system. Load up the kayaks with room to spare in the spacious Chevy Trailblazer with 60/40 split folding rear seats. Haul out the camper and spend a night roasting marshmallows with the Chevy Silverado. Or feel the roar of the crowd and bring the whole crew along in the Chevy Traverse with seating for up to 8. So what are you waiting for? This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today. Traverse seating up to 8 standard and LS available on LT with second row bench seat, RS Premier, and High Country seat 7.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. Well, it's always a good time to get that special someone in your life a beautiful gift. And when I'm in need of a new piece of jewelry, Chalmers Jewelers is my go-to place. Whether I want a timeless classic or a one-of-a-kind piece, Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison has just what I'm looking for. My life has been made so much easier thanks to the great team over at Chalmers Jewelers, and is the reason I keep going back for more. Visit chalmersjewelers.com to find your perfect new piece of jewelry today.
Like, share, and follow ESPN Madison everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more great content from ESPN Madison. This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
All right, Wooly, you had a tap dance to start the show, and then you've been kind of Silent Bob for much of the rest of the program, except when we're getting after you for Miley Cyrus's dance music. So time now to turn the floor over to you for Wonelli.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
I will say I have been a bit quiet today, as getting all this music queued up in between the breaks does take a bit of focus, I will say. And I did some research in the break as well. And Aaron Rodgers said, we were talking about Liev Schreiber, whether he's going to be on Hard Knocks this year. And I looked it up. It appears he will be narrating Hard Knocks still, as far as I can tell. Aaron Rodgers actually said one of the things he was most excited about being on Hard Knocks was the chance to meet Liev Schreiber. So if you guys could meet any actor, we were talking about the 90s today, any musician who you'd want to idolize or love to meet in person, is there one that comes to your mind?
Well, Brad, I'm sure is going to say the lead singer of Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Oh man, that's a great question. There's a lot that seem like they'd be really just fun to hang out with and meet. That come to mind, I would say like an older, I think Tom Hanks would be really fun to hang out with, and a younger actor, I think like Chris Pratt would be a fun actor to hang out with.
Oh,
so
Chris Pratt.
Two guys that Chris Pratt would be a good one. So I think like that would be my thing. Like I wouldn't go to an actor to like be like, oh wow, I get to meet you. It's like, who would be a fun hang? I feel like those guys would be a fun hang.
Wooly, who are you picking? Because I'm curious what the young people say before I give my answer.
The young people.
I will say one of the actors who I have a real bro crush on, I would say, is Ryan Reynolds. Similar to Chris Pratt. Similar to Chris Pratt. He has his own soccer team out of Wrexham. He's in the Deadpool movies, the Marvel movies, if you're aware of those, and he just seems like an all-around great and hilarious guy. He'd be the guy I'd pick.
So I've heard not so great stories about Christian Bale, that he's kind of not very nice.
Heard some of those.
Maybe I could turn him around. I really admire his work. I don't know
good.
why Tausch jumped off the Christian Bale bandwagon, became a Ryan Reynolds guy, but again, they're all actors, right? So they're paid to play a role. But it seems like Tom Hanks is like legitimately a good dude, like a likable human. Like again, and I always tell people this because of my job, I have a much more difficult time allowing someone's public persona to influence whether I like them or not, because I could tell you, which I don't, I try not to because it ruins people's dreamy views of certain players. But like there's some players that are well liked in the Packers history among their fans who were not great guys. And I don't like to ruin those images that people have built up about them, but sometimes it is kind of fun. So I hope Tom Hanks doesn't fall into that category. Whoa, Wooly!
Whoa, Nelly!
Everything I've heard about Tom Hanks is that he is a genuinely amazing guy. And I feel like you can tell when he's on SNL that he's also really funny. So he wouldn't just be like a good guy to hang with. He'd be a really funny, fun guy to hang with. So I think that's a great pick, Jason. But
thank you.
Brad, you also mentioned you had your own traveling, flying scares in Atlanta. And there might be a few teams out west in college football who will be having that scare as well soon. The ACC presidents met this morning for a call to explore adding Cal and Stanford to the league following the dissolution, basically, of the Pac-12 over the weekend. Cal, Stanford, Washington State, Oregon State, the only 4 remaining schools in the Pac-12 after the rest bolted to the Big Ten and the Big 12 this past weekend. So I ask you guys, would traveling coast to coast from the former Pac-12 schools to the ACC, do these schools fit at all in the ACC? And would you guys stand for this? Would you guys watch Cal and Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coast Conference?
Seems like a weird fit for sure. I mean, look, I'll watch any football, so I mean, barring a better game being on, I would not watch it. I just think logistically that would be such a pain. Almost every other weekend, you're kind of making the long distance, trek.
And the other teams are going out to you too.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I feel like everyone's just grabbing a life raft, though. So if that's what it takes, whatever keeps them afloat, might have to do.
It really is strange that we're talking about the Atlantic Coast Conference absorbing the last 4 teams left in the Pacific 10, 12, 8, whatever it was. Now it's down to 4 conference. I just, and maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy who says get off my lawn too much, but I don't love this. I don't. And I, of all people, should be happy because of my affinity for the state of Oregon, which manifests itself as my interest in the Ducks and in the Beavers to some degree. But the idea of Oregon being in the Big Ten, I don't know how you ever get used to that.
It seems weird. I mean, those are usually, some of these matchups are going to be like historical Rose Bowl matchups.
Right.
And they're going to be like a game in early October.
Right. Wisconsin at USC.
Yeah, right.
In a rematch of the 1963 Rose Bowl. All right, Willie, you got one more real quick?
So I do have one more for you guys here today. Speaking of college football and speaking of the Badgers and the new teams joining the Big Ten, the Badgers were actually ranked number 21 in the preseason coaches poll that came out yesterday. I ask you guys, do you think the Badgers could actually break into the top 10 at some point in the first year under Luke Fickell?
I don't think they will. I mean, maybe for a minute, maybe right before they play Ohio State. I think it's a pretty manageable schedule. October's tough with, I think they got Iowa, Illinois, Ohio State. But it's very possible that they win until Ohio State, which is the end of October. And you got 2 undefeated teams. They're, Ohio State's going to be top 5. And maybe because of teams losing, the Badgers could find their way into the top 10, but I don't think they'll end the season in the top 10. I think it'll be right around where they are, probably like lower like high teens, I suppose.
I like reality. I'm a reporter, right? And so that's how I've always been wired. And so it's been a struggle for me on both these teams' fronts that people are so excited about something new that the optimism is just run amok, right? Like it is a runaway freight train of optimism. And I think Luke Fickell has his act together. I think he's going to turn out to be a really good hire and a really good coach. But when you go to the transfer portal as much as they did, we were talking about earlier team bonding. I think it's going to take them a while to figure things out. I think there's probably going to be a loss in there that you're not expecting. So all the optimism and excitement, great. I hope I'm wrong, just like I hope that my skepticism of Jordan Love is proven wrong. But I think it's going to be a tough for both of those football teams in our state, at least early on. All right, that's it for Wooly. We'll wrap things up live. I mean, we're not wrapping up anything other than the show because you're going to go golf and I'm going to ride around in a golf cart. Live from the 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open at the Bog. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you at greatdanepub.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL, and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ, you guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who was 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me. And that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Zimbrick Chevrolet.
When was the last time you had your oil changed or your tires rotated? Do you need new tires, a battery, perhaps some windshield wipers? Zimbrick Chevrolet Service Center is equipped to help you with routine maintenance, major repairs, and everything in between. Get your free battery inspection coupon and schedule an appointment today at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Don't overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie.
Main Street, Sun Prairie, Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Those are the familiar sounds of Pasquale's Cantina and the relaxing patio. It's the kind of place you can sit back, enjoy the conversation, warm weather, and drink one of our specialty margaritas, like the Blue Diamond Margarita, featuring Maestro de Bell tequila, blue curacao, and fresh lemon and lime juice. You'll think you're sitting on South Beach, Miami. That's the vibe from Pasquale's Patio. Now serving relaxation and enjoyment, Middleton and Verona, bringing the flavors of the Southwest to the Midwest. Pasquale's Cantina.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. We're the trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. There's a reason so many customers recommend us after we help with their projects. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
I'm coming!
Hi, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming!
Shoo, you need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens, protecting you from nature.
Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens as low as $188 per month. PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
If you're looking to fill the vacant space in your commercial building, the local agents at RE/MAX and the Preferred Commercial Group are eager to grow your bottom line. Head to commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN and find an investment partner to lead the way to your property dreams today.
Jim Rutledge here of Rutledge and Hamilton, inviting you to see the show live and in person twice this week. Catch co-host Matt Hamilton and I first at X Golf in Middleton on Thursday, August 10th. Book a bay at one of their state-of-the-art simulators and put in an order for some delicious food and drinks. Then crack some more Coors Light with us at State Street Brats on Friday, August 11th. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do. 2 to 4 Thursday at X Golf in Middleton, then Friday at State Street Brats. That's Rutledge and Hamilton, 2 to 4.
Drive safely, Wisconsin. Highway workers are out on the road. They do it to better serve you. And just like you, they want to get home safely at the end of a hard day's work. When driving, all of us have a chance to set the right example. Be patient. Put down the phone. Never text and drive. Slow down and move over if possible to give workers a little extra room. Work zone safety. It's everyone's responsibility.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin, founder of Good Karma Brands. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning from 10 to noon for Sunday Karma here on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road. But you got no day.
All right, Brad, you're going to go hit some drives and some wedges and carry one of these lucky foursomes. I'm going to go ride around in a golf cart and hopefully not crash. Tausch is on assignment for an extended period. This is not the last time we'll have you as a cousin sub of the day, I'm told.
That's correct. Mark your calendars for a week from Friday.
Oh, well, we look forward to that, and we appreciate you always doing this when we call. Thanks for taking another day off from your real job. Soon we're going to force you to make this your real job at the rate we're going. All right, Brad Nortman, he is the best in the business. He is our favorite punter, and he was our cousin sub of the day. That's it for us today. The 2023 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open continues, but that's it for us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.